I'm on mute. Hello, hello, everybody. A Sunday stream. Well, this is very rare for me, but it's a special occasion because the 2-Bit Contemporary Museum has opened. I wasn't sure when this was going to happen. It just so happened to be today, so here we are today. I'm even dressed up for the occasion because I'm one of the exhibitors here. I have a piece somewhere in this museum. I don't know where. We're going to look for it, and we're going to look for everybody else's pieces here because a lot of people submitted. A lot of people got in. This was an open accepting. I don't know how you would call it. It opened up to everybody, accepted everybody. Who was that? So we're gonna have some we're gonna have some live reactions to a lot of pieces here tonight. I don't claim to be like an art expert. I'm like Marge Simpson. I just think these things are neat. I love them. And here we are at a Game Boy Camera themed museum. Oh my God. We got a subscription here from, well, I missed it. Sorry. I'll get you in a little bit, but getting used to those alerts as well. Yeah, what can I say about Minecraft? I'll talk more. I guess I'll talk more about Minecraft when I actually do like more of a legitimate Minecraft stream. This is a user-made world that you can. I do have some notes around here somewhere. Where are they? Here they are. So this was put on by the 2-Bit Contemporary crew. You can join this if you have, I believe, Java or Bedrock Minecraft. And the website that has the information on how to join is gameboycameraclub.com/2bitcontemporary. And that is 2-bit-contemporary. You spell it all out. gameboycameraclub.com/2-bit-contemporary will give you the information on how to join this server so that you can explore it as well. Something's up with my Minecraft. I don't know if there's any music on this map or if it's just not showing up. So to make it a little more exciting for anybody watching on the live stream, I'm going to pipe in some of my music. So we'll go ahead and get that all set up here. Not that playlist. How about we play just some regular tunes? And then let's get all set up here. There we go. So we are good to go. Let's go explore. Wow, look at this. Now this is something. All of these Game Boy Camera pieces were recreated in Minecraft using like template editors or whatever. There are ways to get, you know, pixel artwork into Minecraft, and I can't imagine, like, there must have been so many unique pieces in here. This must have been quite the undertaking. But wow, look at this. This is all very, very legit. We got some Game Boy cameras all set up here. Is there any way to pick them up, do anything with them? Push me. Bloop, bloop. How do we push? Here we go. Oh, hey. And it gave me a... Aha! This is cool. All right, so the spyglass is a Game Boy camera. That is very, very classy. All right, do we have any kind of visitor information here? Here we go. 2-Bit Contemporary is a showcase of the entire Game Boy camera community. The aim is to find and include everyone. We are exhibiting everyone who submitted. Thanks for visiting. So this was brought to you by Jake Pink, Ruben, Andreas Gack, and Alex Hatch. You can find some of their information here. My contemporaries here, people that I have spoken with in various capacities, whether it be through Instagram, Discord, but these are my peeps here. And then we have some also special thanks here, the Game Boy Camera Club. Chris of GameBoyCamera.com. Chris, what up, Chris? 2-Bit Toy, 2-Bit from 2-Bit Boy. What's up, 2-Bit Boy? Natalie the Nerd, also, what's up, Natalie? And the modded Game Boy Club. I guess the best place to start would be Gallery 1. I don't see any sort of... What do we got going on here? Like a guest book or something? It'd be cool if we could sign it. Don't normally play, to be honest, don't normally play with keyboard and mouse here. Wow, look at this piece. Wow, who did this one? Is there any way to see information? This is quite the piece. This panorama is huge. Wow. All right. Oh, hold on. So we do have It looks like that there are like blocks or something underneath each of the pieces here. Will this tell us some information? Here we go. Ah, all right, that's cool. Wait, what did this say that this was? Russian State Scientific Center. Wow. All right, what do we got going on here? This is Mid by Dantist. Ooh, some color pieces. Now, will it give us information about prototype educational neuro robot sitting on a desk? This is by Alex Hatch. What's up, Alex? Yeah, I know Alex. Visited me recently at my shop, and we got to talking about Game Boy camera stuff. It's always nice when stuff like that happens. GBC STL. So I'm already seeing some names I'm not familiar with, and that's good. It should be a really great opportunity for a lot of people here. Fluffy Buff Jams. Don't know them either, but this is a nice piece. Very crisp. Both of these train pieces are very, very nice. Lots of detail in them. Look at this. Looks like some kind of like umbrella or something. Carnival tents, of course. Chris Graves. We got some more colored pieces here. 2-Bit Wizard. What's up, 2-Bit Wizard? I know you. Crofo, I'm not familiar with. Dallas 2022. Oh, okay. This piece is nice. Looks like some kind of bike or something here. I like that. Wouldn't be a Game Boy camera gallery if we didn't have Game Boy cameras in here. The Super Game Boy camera by Mario. By the Mario. Let's go. I like this with the border and all. You just capture it raw. 8-bit lovers. Oh, I love it. Oh, what we got going on here? Some kind of musician? Al Jardine of the Beach Boys. Yeah, that's a musician, all right. Wow, this one's really nice. I think this one was probably done with image composites. Chiptune ska musician. I love it. Oh, what's this? Is that writing? Like, picture of a piece? Transmutation. Transformation of solid by the spiritual. I wonder what this is. It's part of what I love. Oh, hold on. I know this guy. Yeah. An electric pocket camera. One of his. Oh, yeah, that's not a Game Boy camera. It's a camera. And he took it with a Game Boy camera. What's that doing in here? I already see one of my pieces. That's very exciting. Playtime by Brian Koo. Cute sight of a couple playing a claw machine. Oh, should have submitted my Arcade Girls photo. I have this photo of 2 women playing a claw machine outside of Zelke's in Delaware. It's very reminiscent of this one. Yo, who's that? Oratal. What's up, Oratal? So this is one of mine on the first floor in Exhibit 1, climbing the stairs to Pine Knob. Took this at a Tears for Fears concert. For those of you in the Metro Detroit area of Michigan who have ever been to Pine Knob, it's kind of like it's the bottom of a ski hill, I believe. So there are these big kind of rolling hills, and you have to walk up this big hill to kind of get into the amphitheater section. So these were people who were just kind of dotting the top of the hill, and you can sort of see the Hatchman Blue. Is that the Hatch? What's up? So there are the stairs right there, and then I just thought that these people captured really, really, really well. There's a pretty fine amount of detail in here, considering, like, you know, these tiny, tiny, tiny people here on the hill. But that's one of mine. I wonder if any more of mine made it into the gallery. Sounds like they got a lot of submissions right near the end. Pierre Corbinice. Well, this is nice. I like this. Detail in the silhouettes is really nice. I wonder what this is right here. Maybe like a pole or a dividing wall or something. It looks like he's shooting down. They are shooting down. Some good detail in this one. Oh, a nice dither explosion here. Look at this beautiful light dithered out all here. People come through very, very well down here at the bottom. It's a very nice piece by Jalal. Ah, Jalal. I know Jalal. Wow, this is really exciting, actually. Seeing all these names in here, it's like, oh, man. This is so cool. Everest Cooper, some ice fishing action here. Very great photo. Very detailed here. J-Train, what's up? It is a very early stream because the Game Boy camera gallery here that I am in, my piece being over here, is open. So we're going to do a tour because it just opened about an hour ago, I believe. Nicola Tonka. Again, any of these names, I don't know if I mentioned it before. Wow. Wow. What are these? Pipes with Bulging Eyes by GBC Camera, of course. Very, very crisp detail on here. It would be nice. Street art in Paris. It would be nice. I think when we submitted, one of the questions was whether or not we were using like HDR image compositing, where it would just take many, many images and just kind of stack them, smash them all on top of each other, then give you... That's what... hold on. Let me run back over there real quick. This piece right here uses that. This is either done with a more modern camera, emulating a Game Boy camera, or emulator or phone or something like that, or it's a composite image where they just smash together multiple images into one to create that kind of more grayscale effect. This one is very, very crisp. Incredibly crisp. Look at like the detail, just the pure black on these silhouettes here. And those are some bulging eyes. That's a really, really striking piece. I like that one quite a lot. Very clean. Oh, look at this one too. This one's also very, very clean and it's detailed. Look at look at that line, that building line right there. Oh, that's a good one. Rembrandt X. That's why it's a good one. Rembrandt. Lord Drembo. Lord Drembo. You first-time chatter. Welcome. Welcome to the chat here. Oh, Rembrandt, that's you. Is that you, Rembrandt? Ah, very, very good. I get it now. Took me a minute there. I think my coffee's still kicking in. We got two pieces by Rembrandt right next to each other, right? No, never mind. It was just from the other one. Hey, what's up, dude? I'm glad you can make it to the stream. All right, so who did this one? Mechamoth. Very, 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 very clean detail in this one. You can tell that they took this in very, very clean daylight. You can just see everything. See the street lights, the detail in the trees, detail in the folds of the clothing. This is a beautiful image of somebody standing here. Very, very nice one. Waiting for the light to change. Man, there are going to be a lot of pieces here. We may be at this for a while if I decide to give everybody a spotlight. I'd like to. I don't know how many pieces are in this museum, though. This one's nice. I like the palette swap on this one. Very nice detail on all the crew here. Family Trip. Is that Yao? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Yao, Arias, and Tunes. I hope I pronounced any of that right. If not, I am so sorry. Another crisp image here. A lot of us Game Boy camera. Lazy Cat for coffee. Oh, I know Lazy Cat. Oh, wow. Hold on. We're getting some raids and stuff going on here. Thank you, Splody, for raiding me. Welcome, everybody. We're also looking at the Game Boy camera gallery. I saw you looking at it a moment ago, Splody. I'm going to try to give everybody like a brief moment here where I talk about these images. If you see yours, feel free to chime in. This one's really nice. I love the detail on the dog, especially these legs here. Very, very crisp. This is very, very cool, Splody. I agree. All right, who did this one? Willie Wright. Bob by Billy Wright. It's Bob. How could I be more clear? Of course. That must be Bob. I'm assuming that's Bob. About to kick a ball. Very good action here. I don't really shoot that many people when I do Game Boy camera photography. I usually just like to sit and shoot, interesting shapes or textures or locations. But I've noticed that a lot of us kind of get these long, backs of people walking away from us or like longer shots of people. And that seems to be pretty common here with us Game Boy camera photographers. Umbrella Girl by Jacob Holmes. This is very, very nice. Again, a lot of high detail here because of the high lighting, reflections in the water, the pole here, all these railings that you can see. I love the dithering around here. That kind of shows the reflection of the umbrella. That one's very, very crisp. All right. What else? What else? Is that gallery one? Do we already make it through a gallery? Couldn't seem to find one of my submissions, but I'm really glad with the couple that were included. Yeah, I heard them talking in the Discord before I jumped in here that everybody who submitted, they wanted to make sure everybody was submitted, but they weren't able to get everybody's pieces. I also submitted 3, and this is the one of mine that I have found so far. So at the very least, one of everybody's pictures should be in here, but I don't believe that they did too much. By Jake Pink here. Oh, wow, this one's really, really interesting. And there's a little bit of focus. You can see there's a little bit of soft focus on the roof behind the bird here. So this must be taken, and this is also taken, I can tell that instead of shooting like this, they held sideways. The format is a little more vertical. Once I saw Hot Pink Pixels doing more vertical photography, or I guess this would be sideways photography to get that vertical image, I thought that was brilliant. It's a really, really easy way to add like a new depth to these Game Boy camera photos. Otherwise, they're all just this sort of, stamp-sized image. But that one's very, very nice. Very nice, of course. I believe they use a modded camera. Sailing by Echoes from the Shield. This is extremely my shit here. I love minimalism like this. I love the kind of inferred movement. This seems to be a horizon line, but the fact that it matches up very, very well with the boat right here in the middle and the reflection is so tight. Look at that reflection right there. This is a piece for Game Boy camera photographers, I think. If you are not really a Game Boy camera photographer, this one might be a tough one to sell. But as a funtographer, I think this one is stupendous. I really, really like this one. Depth of focus on a Game Boy camera, so hard to do, very well done. Yeah, this one, anytime that I see like really strong depth of focus like this, it leads me to believe that it is a modified camera, one with like the depth of field focus that I think 2-Bit Boys has one, or Chris's Game Boy camera thing, which I think uses an iPhone lens. There are many worlds, but they share The Same Sky by Thomas Haynes. Here we go. So this is a either AI colored one, or they used the 3 filter like color mode to get this color effect. It's hard. Getting a color photo in a Game Boy Color is very, very hard because the dithering is just constantly dotting your palette with pixels here. If those didn't move, like if it all stayed static, getting color images would be very, very simple. Like if it focused in and then it just had a static image and it was that good of a camera. But it's not, so what are you gonna do? This is a beautiful piece. Sky blue came through really, really well. Love the silhouette of the bird here. More birds. This appears to be more birds. A Murmuration by Pierre Corbinai. Yeah, murmurs. I've wanted to get pictures of murmurs. I like birds. I've got a bird tattoo here on my arm. Very, very similar to this one. This kind of imagery speaks a lot to me, so I think this is a very, very nice piece. Again, if you're a Game Boy camera photographer, you should be able to pick out the detail in this one pretty well. But if not, you have to sort of back up from some of these, almost like a magic eye, in order to get them. I'm speaking out of experience, having submitted a couple Game Boy camera pictures to like actual art galleries, like physically printing them, getting them in galleries. The reaction that I get from people is normally very lukewarm at first. It's like they kind of look at it and they go, oh, these pieces are good, and then move on immediately. But then once I start talking to them more and show them like that it's done on a Game Boy, that it's done on an impossibly small canvas size, it kind of opens up their view a little bit. I love that this gallery is here because hopefully it'll get more people to like really step out of their comfort zone and look at some of these more minimalist or abstract pieces here. Especially because I enjoy working in the abstract. Duck Duck You by Sophie Rose Taylor. Look at this. What did that say? A photogenic goose stands upon large piping at the lake. It's a good shot, good model, very well-behaved goose here, not moving. I love the ripple effects here that you can get on the water. Again, if you're a like regular GBC photographer here, that this water effect here should be very, very familiar to you. Wow, look at that burb. Gull by Chris Graves. Oh, what up, Chris? Yep, that is a zoomed-in photo, so this photographer was able to use a zoom lens. There are many 3D print mods. There's some striking detail in that bird. Look at that eye and the beak. Very, very good photo here. And I love the negative space of the bird's body here, like gulls, you know, famously white or gray. But here, just isolating the bird out from the rest of the dithering is very, very cool. I love that negative image effect there. More birds. What are we in the bird gallery? There are a lot of birds here. This is the bird gallery. Oh my God. Hold on. All right. So I think we may have found one of our first little secrets. There's some, Zoe. Or Zoe. Look at that. Gallery 2 is all birds. Of course, Zoe here doing a bird photo. I know Zoe, and I know Zoe's birds. This seems to be another zoom image. This detail is very, 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 very good. This looks like a modified camera. Bastian Eckler. Again, if I am butchering these names, I am so, so sorry. Hatchman Blue, what up, what up? I had to verify my phone and wait 10 minutes to say hi. Yeah, I've been getting a pretty fair amount of spam, or, you know, like people who pop in and they're like, why don't you grow your followers by submitting to my channel? And it's like, I don't need that junk in here. So unfortunately, a couple rotten eggs are spoiling the bunch, and I have to, you know, put that on there as a precaution. But I'm glad you're here. I was shouting you out earlier about the time you came back to my shop and we got to talk Game Boy camera for a minute here. The gallery is beautiful. Thank you for all your help on the gallery here, Hatch. Oh, Hatch, get out of here. I'm trying to grow my followers, okay? Legitimately. By streaming this Minecraft gallery. But yeah, this is great. I'm loving all this. Low Tide by GB Camera User. Believe I'm following GB Camera User. I should be. Anybody here who I'm not following, oh god, you better wait. Once I'm done here, it's got such a blanket follow of so many artists, you'll think I was a spam account. Beautiful detail on this one. What is Hatch saying here? Been fun to put together, to be honest. Everyone else did the real hard work. Well, I'm happy that you're able to help out here. Looks like you and the crew really put together. What is going on with this one? Oh, this is a scanned image. This must be one of 2-Bit Boys. No, GB Cameroid. Okay. So I've seen 2-Bit Boy use this style. What is this, a canvas? This looks like the supports of a canvas, and this is like a piece. But usually you would get this kind of pointillism effect by printing the images and then scanning the printed images. For those who are unaware of the Game Boy camera, ooh. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can find it real quick. All right. Should have grabbed all this stuff before we started streaming, all my random Game Boy camera accoutrement here. But for those who are unaware of the Game Boy camera back in the day, it is a camera, legitimate camera, but the only way that you used to be able to get the images off of it was by printing it with the Game Boy printer. There was no way to digitally archive the images until the Game Boy camera link here, this Mad Catz Game Boy camera link, which is like a 26-pin connector that allows you to kind of dump your files onto a PC. And then also the BitBoy, who I'm so sorry, and I don't have the creator's name ready right now. I believe it's a gentleman in either New Zealand or Australia. A nondescript black box here that I get my images off of. So this operates very similarly to how the printer operates, where the data is intercepted into the printer here. And normally it would just print it out on thermal paper, and that's what this is up here, probably a scan of the thermal paper print. But the BitBoy will intercept it and dump it onto an SD card. So that way I've been able to make zines and upload all my stuff to Instagram and whatnot. I'm capturing all of my Game Boy camera stuff here with currently an analog pocket and a capture card to get like the webcam effect going on here. But there are various, I guess, different strokes for different folks. That is a very nice picture, and I love that they went the extra yard to do like the pointillism effect here. And it also translated from pixel art to pointillism and then back to pixel art very well. So this one's very impressive. I put this up in my like top 5 so far of the crew. GB Cameroid, you did a good job on this one. Speaking of good jobs, look at this dithering light around the little boo-boo ducks. Oh, Lazy Cat for Coffee, just crushing another image here. That is crazy good. This looks to be some kind of zoom lens or very trusting baby ducks here. Look at that bird. Just a Pigeon by Ed with 2 Ds. Glad to see Ed with 2 Ds from Ed and Eddie doing well and supporting the Game Boy camera art community. That's very cool of him. This is a good image of a bird, very clear. This I would assume, I would safely bet is done with some kind of zoom lens and also just a nicer lens. I'm using, when I shoot on stock. I have not modded mine in any way other than swapping the chips in the Game Boy camera head. For a revision 2 to get like some darker blacks. This one, speaking of darker blacks, look at this. Some beautiful contrast in this one to get these swan shapes here. I love that they blend together a little bit too. That is very cool. Love on a fiberglass swan by 2-Bit Boy. 2-Bit Boy, I believe, is... I think he's from New England or England. I believe he's in England. the UK somewhere. But this seems to be a staple. I love how many beaches and birds and whatnot appear in his photography. Wow, some really, really sharp coloring on this one. Pigeons Don't Snitch by Pocket Printer Snaps. Some really, really clean, very clean lines here. Especially here. I wonder if these were edited in afterwards or if this was just captured in that cleanly. I'm very curious to how they got such, like, nice, even lines here and then also get the color effect. Vetriolo. Hello, 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 hello. I love seeing all the new faces here in the chat. I hope everybody's here from the Game Boy Camera Club. Wait, was that yours just there? Hold on a second. Let me run back there. And then a flock of seagulls comes up on shuffle as we re-enter the bird gallery here. Was that your piece over here, the color one, Vetriolo? Pocket Printer Snaps. Some good one. Some really, really good one there. Got it by staying super steady and help from my girlfriend. Ah, yes, girlfriends. Our significant others. What would we do without them? Probably nothing. Whole lot of nothing. All right, well, that was gallery 2. Where should we go next? Let's keep going in order. Stairs by Bjorn Herman. Just stairs. It's just simply just stairs. Very good shot here. I love it. The kind of, like, layered effect of the staircases going down is very cool. Difficult to capture in a Game Boy camera. Depth is very difficult to capture in a Game Boy camera here. Chewy here enjoying the gallery. I hope Chewy's having a good time. Wow, there's some really good ones in here. Everywhere, really. This looks like some kind of cable car or like a Sensores? Is that how you would pronounce that? Sensores by Valkyris. I don't know how to pronounce that either. I'm so sorry. That's a very clean one. And speaking of depth, a lot of depth in that one. Very, very similar to that one where you can tell everything's going downwards in a very, very cool way. Not just because of the lines, but because of, like, the darkness. That's very hard to pull off when you only have 4 colors, 2 bits to pick from here. Very cool lettering right here, as well as this, like, dithering mess, which looks to be branches of some sort. Trees or branches. Love is that, and... ... by Smia. By Smia. Very nice piece here, especially all the detail here on the statue. Like, having all that detail here in the middle, the stark white of the sign or lights or whatever that is right there, and then also the detail, like, having that all those different effects in one photo is quite impressive. Very good stuff here. Wow. Look at all this lighting in this one. This is really, really cool. Lighting is another very, very difficult thing to capture on a Game Boy camera. This is by Felix Frank? Very, very nice here. Looks to be some kind of gallery of some kind, or Shadows of Dusseldorf No, Dusseldorf by is what it should say. Yeah, those shadows are beautiful. Shadows are hard. They are very, very hard to capture without them looking either just like far too dark or far too light. Getting that inference of shadow while maintaining that detail is difficult. You should be really, really proud of this one. This is a beautiful capture. Look at this. Very clean CD here. Who did this one? GB Camera BR. Ancient Tech? Yeah, I mean, God, I broke my hand a couple of years ago, like 2-3 years ago, and when they gave me my x-rays, they gave them to me on CD, and I was so excited because I'm like, oh, I'll get these really high-def images of, like, my bones. That's really cool. And then I got home and I look at my computer and it doesn't even have a disk drive anymore. So this ancient tech is becoming more and more ancient as the days go by. That's a Gundam. There's a Gundam down here. Japan Escape Part 2 by 8-Bit Lens. God, the Gundam. Great panoramic shot here. Pretty tough to get the panoramic shots in the Game Boy camera. You have to be either really, really still or just match up the pixels very well because it'd probably have cut this off. Let me see. Are there any seams? No, they did a really, really wonderful job. You can't see the seams at all, and the seams at all in this one. But normally it would be like around here, I would guess. Maybe even here. No, it'd probably be a little higher. But this looks to be about maybe 3 images high. Very nice shot. Speaking of panoramas, look at this one with the sky and everything, and getting it all matched up with the seams is very, very impressive. Like, really impressive, actually, because you do have to match up the pixels very, very well. And it'll kind of, like, shove your image off to the sides so you can kind of see it, and that way you can get it all lined up. But who did this one? This is really fantastic. Michael Vasquez. It's a composition? Hold on. Composition of the Eiffel Tower located in Paris. Yeah, really nice picture there, and all the detail. You can see, like, all the girder, all the ironwork here in the Eiffel Tower. I walked up this thing once. We decided not to take the elevator, but decided to walk up as much as we could, which I believe gets us to here, and then you have to take an elevator to the top. But God, walking from the ground floor up there was brutal. Like, destroyed our legs. Graffiti. So far, this is the most unique here because it isn't... Or wait, is it graffiti? It's either graffiti as in, like, drawn with the Game Boy camera, like, pen, or it's a photo of some graffiti. But this one's more just straight, like, pixel art. Who did this one again? Schnoes. Graffiti from an abandoned school. Maybe it is a photo, then. Looks more like line art than anything. But I do love the characters. All right, which musician do we have here? Jacob Isbell. So this is by Sam Thigpen. Really nice photo here. Again, more great negative space work here with a little bit of detail. You can tell it's a guitar. The guitar neck is quite good. Quite good here. Concert stuff is hard. You either need a zoom lens or have to be pretty close here. We got some cash money in the museum. Useless. By Beckarto. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60. It's like $1.80, $1.60, $1.80 there. 92 Corolla by Caleb Young. Really nice photo of a car here. Love the tilted angle. Very cool. Some really nice deep blacks here. But most of it's like that kind of grayscale. And the grayscale came through really well on this. So now we're in 4. Let's, we'll start over here, kind of nearish. Oh, hold on a second. We found a little door here. Is that the secret door? I haven't been looking for any of the secrets yet, but I hear that there are plenty. Does this lead to, like, more gallery space or something? Or I guess we will investigate this a little bit. The roof! For some reason I can't go over there. The real gallery had a plastic chair here for years. I could see it from the window of a client. Leave a tag if you find this. 1 of 3. Whoa, hatch. Boom. That's fun. Whoa. Let's head back down to the gallery. Close this off here. Try not to spoil it for anybody. No! I wonder if anybody's managed to die in the gallery yet. Just got hurt a little bit. Back to the photos. This one's by Ergak. BMW headquarters. Look at this. This color work is stupendous. Now I know that they're using like composite work where I think they're crushing together multiple images to get the color quality to come through so well on these. But this is a really nice one here. And I love like the detail of the building mixed in with the negative space of this big shaded overhang area here. And Gaxon OG helped him a little bit with the 2-bit PXLR that he was working on like way back when. This is cool, and I like it with the like CRT monitor frame as well. That's very interesting. Latino Americana. Torre Latino Americana by Rafael Zaratai. So more cool silhouette work. The palette swap makes this like way more interesting. Otherwise, it would just be like a big, you know, black and white mess of pixels here. But I do like the shape of the silhouette here. Switching it to that vibrant blue and pink is very cool. Wow. What is that? Is that a sculpture? Mwahaha by Funtaz. What does that say? Funtography drawn on a photo of furniture. Wait, what? Funtography drawn on a photo of furniture. So was this like the shape of it, the furniture and the eyes and stuff added with pixel art? That's really good pixel art. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And who did this one again? Funtos. Looks like another one. Is this by our... No. Thought this was done by the same. Looks like it was just somebody with a parallel idea. California Dreamin' by Hoovy Boards. This is the Venice Beach palm trees here. The dithering is very cool. It's very interesting to see it in anything other than black and white. I'm so used to working in strictly black and white. Seeing palette swaps is great. And by 2-Bit Memories, Sculpture by 2-Bit Memories. Sculptures are fun. I do like shooting sculptures. I've got a couple of shots of like, who is it? I can't remember who it's by. I'm such a bad artist. Persephone, I believe. It's in the DIA. It's one of my favorites. It's just such a... It's in such a spot, too, that you can get some really, really nice pure black backgrounds when you're photographing it. The way the light hits it and reflects off the quartz of the sculpture just really blinds the camera for any kind of background. Some, like, cool tips and tricks that I learned. There's a lot of coercion that you can do to get these the Game Boy camera to get, like, such rich... like solid blacks and whites here. You'd have to kind of push it down, like the contrast, push it down, and then sort of keep the sharpness up, and it'll eventually snap into like a second. It has an autofocus, I guess I should say that first. And it'll sort of snap into like a secondary autofocus that I believe is reserved for like low light environments. And it's much, much richer, and I love shooting in that space as well. Another color, possibly composite photo here, the Sagrada family by Pixeleo. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I just don't know, and I apologize profusely to everybody I butcher. This is a really nice one. Sky turned out really, really well. The rainbow effect down there at the bottom, I can't tell if that's a sign or like stained glass or something. Sagrada, I believe, is stained glass. This one's quite good. If this is just like a standard, you know, they held the camera still and did the 3, like color wash. Like, so I guess what you would do, I didn't explain it very well earlier. So you take your black and white camera, and there are these like filters that you can put over it that will isolate either red, blue, or green. And then you can use those wavelengths, smash them all on top of each other, and then use some kind of color filter or something in Photoshop. And it'll add color to these black and white photos. You know, black and white is obviously capturing all of those spectrums, but it's only presenting them in black and white. So you can use some coercion to kind of get these colors out. But it's tough, like I mentioned earlier. The dithering effect makes it so that the pixels aren't in the same spot in each photo, so you won't really be able to match them up one-to-one. So to get like very rich, vibrant greens and yellows and reds here is very exciting, I think. Same with the sky. Getting that like vibrant blue is very, very cool. This looks like somebody's back. Another palette swap. A Tree by the Sea by Ruben Losud. This is really nice. A lot of detail coming through with the shading. Both the extremes, like the dark and the whites here. You can see, like, looks like they've got their arm up, maybe putting something on their head. Very cool shot there. This one's nice, too. I used to do a lot of stuff like this when I first got back into Game Boy camera photography there. Shooting up into trees is very fun. Orital, it's one of yours. Just saw you a moment ago running around the museum. I wonder where you ran off to. There's Toe. How incredible that we exist. I've seen this one before. Camilo, that's why. It's Camilo Longos. Very nice shot here. Very cool. Also very cool to use the Game Boy camera as like... almost like a Xerox machine in a way to do that kind of like zine, the cut and chop like zine effect there is very fun. Remember, I started making zines because of Carta Monier's Napkin, I believe. I think it's called Napkin, but it's a Game Boy camera zine that they did. And then they also used like the text here to kind of tell the narrative of the zine, and that got me very, very creatively charged to get mine going. I should get my web store up and running again so people can pick that up. But until then, you could, if you're in the Metro Detroit area and you hit up Retrotaku Video Games in Walled Lake or Madison Heights, either location should have my zines there. Same with Weird Bird in whoa, I'm totally blanking on it right now. I'll have to get all my stuff together, get a little more active out there. But let's see who did this archway photo. This is really nice. Gate in the Water at Sunset by Breed. So this is a very, very nice one. I love that you can tell the light is shining through the center, or like kind of in this area right here because of the destruction of the shape of the gate. This is very cool. And you got that nice like glow effect, beautiful glow effect, and beautiful choice of colors as well to kind of give it that fiery glow. Very, very nice there. Got some body photos here. Becoming Me by D Lightyears. Very, very cool. So again, a lot of negative space here in the body. The rest of it, so much of it is commanded by the dark, like, you know, all these blacks and the dithering. So it is very cool to see that stark white to give you that more feminine shape here, like the outline of a body. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Who did this one? Skate Park by David King. I can't say that I'm familiar with David King, but I like this like messy overlay of the spectrums here. This one is very, very interesting. I just noticed the glowing, like the lights or the pipes or whatever that's supposed to be. This one is really, really cool though. I love this effect. That's very, very awesome. See some museum goers finding some cool secrets. Capture the Wave, I believe that says. Eviath Landscape. This is really intriguing. Yeah, Rembrandt, I agree. This is very much like a misaligned screen print. This is a very, very cool effect. I don't see this very often, so this one stands out a lot to me. Like with the rest of these Game Boy camera photos here. This one kind of stands out apart. Very, very interesting shot there. Same with this one. I wonder what this is. I wonder if this is like real terrain or what. But this is very moody. I like this very, very much. This is something you would expect to see in like an M-rated Game Boy game if there ever was one. You know what I mean? This looks like a story waiting to be told. And that's a really, really... I love this one. Like, just as an abstract Game Boy camera photographer, like, I really, really love all the mystery and inferred detail in this one. Who's this? Self-Portrait by On de Wall. Beautiful self-portrait here. Very mysterious, very dark. Most of it's just completely obstructed by the dark here. I love it. Just a little bit of inferred detail over here as well. But I love being able to see like that sharp curve of the cheek, like coming up into the cheekbone there. Very, very cool image. Very cool capture. Very good self-portrait here. And the imagery here, this cabin by Zarakov, like that shadow or the kind of wear on the boards here is very, very interesting. Very spooky. I like this one. That's a really, really good one. All right, so I believe that's everything in this gallery. Which one is this? We were in 4. So where is 5? 5, Void, 6, 7, and 8. What is Gallery Blackout? I'm going to go run up there real quick. Oh, very cool. So this is like a, more like a dark room experience. This is really cool. Jake Pink here. Hatch says, gotta run, but I appreciate you running through the pieces. You've got quite a bit more to explore, so maybe we'll catch you again after a bit. Thank you so much for joining in, Hatch. Really good to see you. Good piece in the gallery. Good work in the gallery. Meller by Jake Pink. Again, these images with the, like, really isolated and solid colors are very difficult to pull off. I wonder if this is in camera or like with some kind of Photoshop layering effect, but these are really stark colors, really beautiful. Michigan Central Station by Alex Hatch. The Hatchman himself, and of course it's blue. For those who haven't met or interacted with Hatch, Hatch is all about the blue. I think when I ran into him, he was wearing all blue. Everything about him was blue. Abadi, abada. But this is a really great, classic Michigan Central Station. Every Michigander knows this building, the train station, which is reopened, I think. I don't know. Who knows? All day, every day blue from the Hatchman blue. Great photo here. Love the reflections. Love the light. Love, like, the line. Like, the line work that the light is giving this building is great. Very cool pics here. And then also the custom frame is very, very cool. Who's this by? Ruben Losud. So this looks like some Sparks or something. It is reopened. That was during End of Detroit Design Month celebration. Ah, okay. What's going in there? Like they're putting in retail space, or like I thought they were putting in apartments or something. Who knows? Sparks, very, very cool. Sparks, pretty, I wouldn't say easy to photograph. If you can get the contrast up really high so it does these like really stark blacks, they become easier, but then movement is hard. So this is a really cool isolated cluster of sparks right here from the looks of it. Another piece by Eric Gack, Bavaria statue. Very cool here to have it framed up with the sun, which looks to be peeking through some clouds here. So it's not super duper intense. Some really interesting work here. I think that's everything for the Blackout Gallery. And then there's a Whiteout Gallery. Let's go check out these themed galleries here before we go into, what are we on next? 5? Oh, wow. Okay, so these are all galleries that are primarily like white negative space dominated. Avalanche Lake by Corey. Very cool. This appears to be a composite shot. I think this is a composite shot. This is quite good. Again, composite shots, difficult to pull off. There's so much detail in these mountains. This is really insane. So I wonder if this is like a mix of composite and some kind of high definition camera mod. But that capture is great. Look at that line. Beautiful line across there. This looks like something from 2-Bit Boy. Nope, I was wrong. Yao Arias Antunes. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong again. I love it. This just looks like straight pixel artwork. Like, this is some really great isolation of the statue and the detail of the statue. Very cool shot there of the top of it. Yeah, I love it. Like the chunky leg and then the very, very thin leg here with like these super minimal details all remind me of like Castlevania pixel art. Beware of Ogre. Ogres Are Like Onions by Silver Sasquatch. What's up, Silver Sasquatch? I know you. This looks like a composite photo to me. Little Bo Pink saying, the server's online from now onwards. So very, very good. Yeah. Very cool image of Shrek's signage. Beware of the ogre and stay out. But yeah, this looks like a lot of detail. Quite a lot of detail. It almost looks like a better camera took this, which would lead me to believe that this is like a composite shot of several Game Boy camera things. But that is very, very cool. It's all beyond my pay grade. I only work with stock, like in photo captures. And then once stuff gets to the more technical, like, oh, and then you batch composite these photos. I'm like, I know how it's done. I don't know how to do it myself. This is really intriguing. So it appears to be some kind of like high resolution image and then the Game Boy camera selection fitted into it. So I would imagine that the real piece, this is like a photograph, like a real photograph. And then this is the actual Game Boy camera art. Long's Peak by Justin Barrett. This is a really cool piece. I'm glad that there are some more experimental pieces like this where they're like adding the Game Boy camera element to it or using different mediums like this or like the graffiti artwork from earlier, which I still don't know if that's a capture or not. I think it is. But this is a really, really interesting one. I love how they just fit it in. And fit it in perfectly. I wonder how they did that. And I guess you could just take like a larger photo and then fit this into here if you're just shooting from the same spot, generally from the same area. That's a very, very cool one. I like that one very much. Storm's Coming by Rembrandt X. Rembrandt X, huh? This is a good one. The detail in this cloud is very, very good. I like the detail in this cloud very much, especially as it's like approaching the statue here, which is like very silhouetted, very stark silhouette. And to have the clear sky here definitely lends to the like the theme or the name of it, where you can tell it's kind of rolling in slowly. This is a cool piece. Rembrandt, I'm a fan of Rembrandt. I've got a couple of his zines as well, I think. But I do like Rembrandt's work very, very much. Shooting clouds is hard. Shooting clouds with a Game Boy camera is difficult, especially making it dynamic and interesting, because it's very easy to shoot a cloud, but it's very difficult to get a lot of the light detail. One of the pieces that I submitted was some Mammatus clouds, and I hope that it's in here. I hope more than one of mine is in here. That would be fun. Let's see. Palace of Fine Arts, San Francisco by Ed with 2Ds again. Really, really crisp image here. D Lightyear's coming to check out the artwork as well. What can I say about this one? The detail's great. You can tell where the pillars are. There's some like fine detail up here that's captured very, very well. I love like just the stark shadow of the archway here. Definitely lends itself to the shadow of the archway. Fit perfectly here within the frame, the little nearly 1x1 frame of the Game Boy camera. So this is a good piece. I like this one. Every piece here is a good piece. I mean, I feel excuse me. Now very aware of how often I'm just saying this is a good piece, and it's going to make me sound so hack. I don't have very many other words for some of these. This one appears to be some kind of composite photo. We Sought Abandoned Asylum 2 by GBB Hams _ captured. Wait, what did that say? Here it was easy to get in, but thousands never got out. Uh-oh. Some real life heavy stuff going on in here. Very, very interesting, because it is sort of like there's almost, like it almost looks like two images laid on top of each other. It's kind of soft. So it almost seems like they're two images, but displaced by like a single pixel. Whoops. Which is how you'd have like this quote unquote missing pixel right here. I'm not really sure how they got that effect. Whether that be in camera with like a nicer camera or what. But the building detail is very, very nice on here. This section right here being so soft is like so interesting to me. Anytime soft focus is achieved in a Game Boy camera, I'm immediately like, ooh, how'd you do that? Shadows 03 by Pixel Dud. This one's very cool, because I have nothing else to say, no other more exciting words. This one's interesting. It's very brutalist and abstract. Kind of reminds me of the DIA. There's some courtyards in the DIA. There's one in particular where it's just like a big square-shaped room with this kind of grid work, this 9x9 square grid work that kind of surrounds the room that you can look into it. And this sort of reminds me of those like stark white walls there. Very cool. Very interesting to see, like, kind of Penrose steps, you know, these are pointing in different directions. Love it. Very interesting capture there. Palm trees, another great, not an easy capture, but just a great capture. So who did this? Ya boy Lefty. Ya boy Lefty did a very good job capturing these in a very pleasing kind of swoop. A Nike swoop, almost. Kind of leads the eye in a very cool way, no matter how you're looking at it, either from right to left or left to right. But the detail of the palm is very, very difficult to get through on the Game Boy camera. Again, any fine detail is really difficult to achieve. So half the time that I get a photo that turns out well, it's often a surprise to me. You know what I mean? I'll take like a photo of some trees or whatever and be like, oh, I hope that turned out well. And then when I check it later and it's very detailed or very crisp, it's like, oh, this camera, I cannot believe this. So we'll head to... Wow, we still have a lot more to go. But we're going to keep on keeping on here. I think we're about halfway there. By God. I will say something about every piece in here. Turtle. Who's Turtle? Fred the Turtle by Sam Thigpen. Look at Fred. Look at the detail on Fred. Wow. Like the stripage on the body came through very, very vibrantly. See the little pointy, like, turtle kind of beak that they have there. Aw, it was nice. This one also appears to be flipped. So instead of shooting it at its regular format, it's kind of flipped on its side to give it that more vertical effect. The green and blue, very good. Very turtley. Just turtley enough for the Turtle Club. Kowloon by Pixeleo. It's a cow. Beautiful image of a cow. Look at this. It came through so vibrantly on the rest of this grass field. And the sky being so stark white is so interesting. Makes the rest of it, like, pushes your attention down into the field and towards the cow, which I think is great. So where should we go next? The Void and 6, 7, and 8 are down here. I think I've seen this piece before. Wait, how'd that happen? Hope I didn't mess that up. I'll put it back where it belongs. Synthetic Dreams by Silver Sasquatch. Yep, Silver Sasquatch again. Very cool. I believe that isn't this Camilo's album? I think Camilo does some music. I think that's Camilo Longo's album. Music is the Weapon by Master. Is that who did it? Hold on a second. Shane Lee Levin. That's who it is. Rembrandt saying, yeah, it's an HDR shot of the album. Yeah, so this must be the middle of the record. And then we got like this Tin Man-esque nose from the spool of the record player there. So Music is the Weapon. Is that what we're looking at? Shane Lee Levin. Again, concert stuff is difficult. Difficult. That is like the number one thing I think I can stress here is shooting with the Game Boy camera is difficult. It is a fun camera, but you really do have to lend yourself over to learning like what does and doesn't work and trying to pay attention to like what lighting environments you can work in. Initially, when I first got back into the camera in a serious way, I almost quit because I'm like, there's just no real way to shoot in low light. So I'm not really sure what to do with this, but then was quickly corrected in my own experience and love shooting in low light. Actually, if you can get stuff to come through in a low light environment, it's really something. This one is no exception. You can see like the horns here on the guitar body, which is very cool. Not quite an SG body. This is more of, what is that? Like an Ibanez guitar or something like that. But it looks like somebody really getting down. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Santa Maria by, Charlie Amazing GBC 4M. Tips for low light light blocker mod. Asking me personally what my tips in shooting in low light are. It's going to be hard for me to quantify it, especially because I can't show examples too well with my Game Boy camera in Game Boy Camera. But if the camera takes a little bit of time to focus. Like there is a rudimentary autofocus that is built into the Game Boy camera. And there are two levels of autofocus. There's one for higher light and one for lower light. And you can push your Game Boy camera into that lower light setting if you just gradually step down the brightness, like one step at a time, and you just let it wait and focus in. If you do that in low enough environments, you'll notice that it'll go from like this kind of capture where it's more bright and like this more lighter color gray instead of this darker color gray will shine through more often. But then if you push it, let's see if I can find any examples here. If you can push it down into a low light focus setting, you'd be able to get, none of these are really great examples, unfortunately. You'll be able to get like stronger darks. Like it basically will, and you'll know when you're in it because it'll just all of a sudden snap into this different kind of image type. It'll still be the, black and white pixel thing, but the detail will be a little more rich for low light environments. And then from there, that's when you like mess with the contrast a little bit. You probably want to bump it up a little bit to get more sharper lines. But then if you bump the contrast down, it'll give you more dithering. But my number one tip is just get into low light and wait, be patient, look at what your camera is doing. Don't do like big edits to the brightness or the contrast. Do like one or two minor steps at a time and see what that does to the camera. And stand still. Stand still as much as possible. Yeah, no problem. Love giving out advice as much as possible. Did I talk about this one yet? This one, like the detail in this one almost looks like the kind of detail that I would be describing. However, this one's outside, got a nice lean to the building, which makes it very dynamic and exciting that it's kind of jutting out of the corner of the picture here. And the detail in this building is beautiful against the stark background. This is a great capture. Should be very proud of that one. These stairs are also very interesting. I think that's what I like about the stairs. Cool stairs that go zoop. By Calcium Chan. This guy taking a picture of me? What's up? So the dithering here is very interesting. This looks to be like some kind of light cloud that got picked up. But the railings are what make this very interesting. Otherwise, it would just be a photo of stairs. But the Game Boy camera, the fact that you can see like these cool patterns here to give you that inferred shape of all the railings or the railings behind railings is very, very interesting. Oh, this one's yours? Hold on a second. Calcium Chan, that's you? Yeah, this is great. What did you say about it? There's stairs, and they be floating off the side of a building. There would. Yeah, I mean, what else can be said about stairs, really? But this is an interesting shot of stairs, and it's just thanks to the Game Boy camera and the magic of the Game Boy camera turning, like, stairs into something more interesting because it's difficult to get all this detail in here. This is a very rich... Oh, that was you taking the pic? Ah! Where'd you go? Hold on, where are you? You're around here somewhere. I'm sure I'll run into you again. Who did this one? This has got Shadow Alley by Zarikov again. A stark shadow in rural PA downtown. Got some local PA photographers here. Enderlord saying, love all this. Big up to everyone. Big up to everybody indeed. Like, everybody's crushing it. I'm going to take a little pause here to congratulate everybody I've talked about so far and everybody who I'm going to be talking about here in a little bit. Again, the detailed in this one, the detail is so nuts on this one from a Game Boy camera photographer to another Game Boy camera photographer. This line, I'm obsessed with this shadow line here that is just completely blacking out all the rest of the detail of this building. All of this beautiful detail here, very, very cool to include this, as well as like the lines from the utility pole, all being surrounded in this little cluster of light, like the fact that you don't see the lines connecting to any of the poles because of this light, but the inferred shape of this, you can tell it's a street light. Very, very cool stuff. Very confident photography here. I like this one quite a lot. Same with this one. I do love, like, a big old mess of dithering pixels like this is beautiful. Beautiful to a photographer like me. Of course, it's the Empire State Building by Alex Akers. I assume it's Akers if there's no C in it. But this is great. I have never been to the Empire State Building. I've been to New York a couple of times. I've never been to New York with my Game Boy camera, though. I know a couple of you photographers are New Yorkers. Your photography's different. It's the water. I think it's something in the water. Who did this one? East Wisconsin Ave by Billy Wright. So here's another color photo here that I think is really well done. There's a lot, like this, whatever this is, this sculpture back here, both of these iron sculptures, I assume. The color on them are captured very well, especially the red one. But this one's cool too. Like you almost don't notice it right away until you focus in on the dithering here. But I hope this one was done, you know, just by simply laying over the three spectrums to get this, because this is really, really good work here. Oh, we got more gallery down there. Wow, look at that one. Nice bridge jutting out from the trees, untitled by Zookers. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. Zookers, I know, through Facebook and whatnot. This is a great shot. Again, none of these are bad. None of these are bad. Nor would I want to say any bad things about any of these shots, but these are all so good. This is like a really solid turnout from all these photographers. The very light dithering on the leaves here are really, really interesting for the rest of the stark black of the bridge of the photo. Really cool how it's framed out, like, and they just sort of evaporate off into nothing. So either like this up here, this I can't imagine the branch, although there's blue in here, so the branch looks like it at least goes to here, but like, I love that. It almost looks like smoke or like steam coming up off of all of it, and it's very interesting. This is cool. This looks to be some kind of flower bulb of some kind. Anthesis by San Maesha. Finch adapted. We got another follower. Thank you so much for the follower. I can't talk. Been trying to talk so much lately, and my voice, and it's all leaving me. Rembrandt, have to go, but love your reviews and digging into the how-to. I leave inspired. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Do I have it? I have no date announced for it, but I will be making an appearance on a podcast to talk about the Game Boy camera in the near future. I'll be talking about it, but look for the Call Me By Your Game podcast by Kanzi. I'll be eventually showing, we're talking about having me on either late January or late February. So if you like Game Boy camera talk, I will be on there discussing the Game Boy camera as well. And I believe he'll be streaming that too. But this San Maesha piece is, wait, what did it say? There's some details on it. A blossoming flower taken while on a walk. Beautiful. Was that Southern Ontario? Southern Ontario. Yeah, these kind of like thistle, like that thistle style where they just sort of like explode out like a star. Like, it's very cool, and the texture is very, very cool as well. But it's hard to capture that kind of texture, especially like that close up on a Game Boy camera. This appears to be stock. There is too much dithering around the edges. The Game Boy camera has like an edge detector, so it can, let me see if I can like demonstrate it at all here. Trying to get the edges of my fingers to show up. Not very well. Maybe on this white. Like right here on the underside of my pointer finger, you can see that line. That is an edge detect. So that is the Game Boy camera detecting the edge of an object. I have absolutely no clue how that works. All I know is that it is there. And if you were to get a more clear up-close photo of this flower bulb, you would see that edge effect all over the edges. But I don't see it in this one. So this is, if this is just an in-camera, they held it up close to the object and took a photo of it, it's very well done, especially with that kind of like explosion effect that those bulbs give off. Kitty. Love a cat. It's by David Gaspar. Cat named Ray. Ray in a playful mood. That's a playful cat right there. And you can tell, look at these big ol' eyes. This beautiful little tuxedo cat. Love all the detail here. And the detail of the whiskers against the fur. Very, very cool. This must be a very fun cat to photograph because of all the like detail, the minor detail in like the silhouetted body. Aw, what a good cat. What piece do we have here? Castle by Caleb Young, OSU's old main building. So this one, if I had to guess, if I had to take a guess for Caleb's camera here, I bet that he has a VO1 chip or whatever. Wait, is it V? Nah, it's been a while since I've looked at these before. It is MGBD 10. That's what I read. That's what it was. I think it's 01 or 10 or 00 or 01. It's been a minute since I checked it, but if you look at the underside, like where the pins are, if you look at the pins near the left side of the camera, there is a serial code that's printed on the chipboard, and that tells you which revision chip you have. There are two boards. I believe it's 01 and 10, or maybe it's 00 and 01 or 00 and 10, but there are two types. This appears to be the first type. So when the Game Boy camera first hit the States, it had a 00 or whatever revision, and that would give it more of these like grayscale images with less stark black. There was a lot more of the light gray, and that's what this camera looks to be. Earlier, I mentioned the only modification that I've done to my camera was swapping the chips in the head. And that's because there's another chip inside the head, too, that has the same MGBD 01 or 10. I really should figure out what it is, so I'm not just giving everybody a bunch of misinformation. But mine says 10 on both. And it's not a guarantee that the 10 chip will give you a more stark, like, black and white, you know, with like cleaner lines image. It's not a guarantee, but there's a chance that it'll happen. But this is a very nice photo of this building. You can still get a lot of the detail and even this archway and staircase right here that I can pick out. Very like kind of Victorian era or whatever you would call this, like European design. Where was this again? Ontario? USU? Where is USU? Don't know where USU is. But either way, if I had to guess, I bet he's using the earlier revision. Bet that they are using the earlier revision chip for that kind of photograph. This is a really nice one too. Again, just getting like the detail of the tree, the explosion of the dithering, that like the sky and the trees. Can't even tell where the trees end and where the sky begins. But then having this central like street light here as the focus makes it very cool because your eyes can settle on that and then your brain infers the rest. Very interesting thing that the Game Boy does because it's such low detail is that your brain will infer the detail, kind of fills in where there are no details. And I think that's what I love most about the Game Boy camera. Streetlight and Skyline by Ray Olson. We had a little more information here. Curved streetlight in the foreground in front of a city skyline. You can tell, got some like pretty sharp lines on some of these buildings here. Hey, Zookers is in the game. We were just talking about them. And then there's that streetlight right there. Really nice palette. It's like kind of tan, yellow, and brown is very, very nice for kind of like a sunset shot like this. This appears to be Japan. Fuji, Japan Escape, Part 3 by 8-Bit Lens. What did that say? Last of my favorites from my travels. This is a really cool one. Again, and this. So this is something that the Game Boy will do. I normally get it horizontally, though. But the way that it focuses, sometimes you'll get these kind of vertical focus lines here, and you can kind of pick them out because there's like, you know, a very, very hard line right there. Not that that detracts from anything here. The real beauty is this. Look at this little archway, this teeny tiny little archway hidden down here in the corner against, that looks like Fuji. I'm assuming that that's Fuji. But wow, that is cool. The scale. Yeah, the shrine detail, I agree. The shrine detail is bonkers. This is a beautiful piece. They should feel so proud of it because it's really something. Also, this detail on the mountainside and like the snow-capped peak of Fuji, like, mwah, chef's kiss. Just a chef kiss. This is beautiful. Wow. This is nice too. This is like is that a barbed wire fence? Ghost Bike by David King. And then say a photo of a ghost bike at the Blip Roasters in Kansas City. Great detail on the bike here. I love the shadow and like the light reflecting off of these rims here. Very cool. This appears to be somebody's... Is this somebody standing there? I can't tell if that's like a shoulder or what. But this almost looks like a barbed wire or something across the top. Like this is the fence. And it's got like that kind of security gate there. And the detail that you can kind of find in these images. Wow! Speaking of detail, look at that graffiti. Who did this one? Wacos by Hunter Jacob. That graffiti is really dope. This capture is good, but the capture on the graffiti and like the glow around the letters and the dripping paint, that is stupendous. Really stupendous stuff. Wow. I just have to take a moment to like admire it. Really good work there. Really, really good work, Jacob. Hunter Jacob. This is a good piece. Oh, look at this gray. So instead of a black banner, we have a gray banner by Tony Dodge. This says Strat. Is that the Space Needle? Looks like maybe the Seattle Space Needle. Kind of crammed between a couple signs. The detail on the signs comes through pretty well. I can kind of tell that these aren't front lit. So to get, especially on the parking sign, this parking came through so clearly. It looks so nice. And kind of like the clouds, you can tell, are kind of resting like horizontally across the background. This is a really interesting shot, composition-wise. Beautiful. Look at that sky. Holy cow. Harlem by Bjorn Herrmann. The detail work on this building is bonkers, just like that shrine in that earlier photo. Look at those windows and the sky creeping in. Again, having a little bit of this negative space here makes the sky way more dynamic, kind of almost gives it a sense of movement, like it is moving into that clear space. But I love that it opens up for all this detail here. And just the white borders of the windows here in the middle, these stark windows. This is a great building. Really great framed shot of the sky in this building. Good shot, good shot. What do we have here? Like some kind of llama or donkey or something? Lovely Donkey by Nicola Tonka. Very affectionate donkey puppy born on my farm. Are little donkeys called puppies? Is that true? I did not know that. And if that is true, that's adorable. I do love a donkey. They're very sweet. Look at this little thing. It's just getting his little snoot held. His eyes. There's so much like puppy dog eye going on here. You can see that little swoop. I love it. And like the little ridge of the nose is very, very interesting as well. What a beautiful little photo. That animal has no idea what a Game Boy camera is. Speaking of animals, what's this? A night at the carnival. It's the dinosaur exhibit at the carnival. You can kind of see it like, bah, coming to get you. This looks like something they would have shot at Jurassic Park. Be like, Tim, put that Game Boy camera away. You have to stand, well, I guess if you have to stand still to take photos of the dinosaurs, and that's okay. Their vision's based off movement. This is very interesting. It does remind me of the classic T-Rex scene, of course. It's got like all this underlight coming up, kind of making it look more menacing, more taller. Very interesting. Very moody piece. It's like creepy, and I think that's what I like it. I can tell that it's some kind of creature, and I know it's a dinosaur, but not knowing it's a dinosaur, you can still tell that it's some kind of creature with its mouth open. Speaking of creatures, cats. A Stray by Ox. Oh, wow. One of the first photos that they took with a Game Boy camera back in the summer of '98. I wish I still had any of my photography from back in like the heyday of when I first got my Game Boy camera, but I never had a printer growing up. There was just no way to get the images off of it. I would just delete them after a while. This cat has a weirdly human face in this photo. I think it's the way that the Game Boy camera kind of flattened its nose. Real human-faced cat here. What's his name again? Ox? No, the photographer's Ox. It's just a Stray. So much of the detail of that cat's face is coming through, and you can even see some of the whiskers jutting off the side here. It's very hard to capture in such a, like, this doesn't appear to be a very high light environment to shoot that cat in. On to the next gallery. And then what is the gallery void? Got a piece over here, but with no information attached to it. Who did this one? HPB. This looks to be the corner of a staircase, if I had to guess. I've got a couple of those in my galleries and whatnot. If anybody's interested in any of my work, one of my pieces is in here so far, and you can find the rest of my stuff in on Instagram. I'm at hellodanlane on Instagram. Finch Adapted is saying, cats in general are hard to get on Game Boy camera. Yeah, they can be. They really, really can be. If you're in good light, and they're in good light, and they're behaving, not so bad. Oh, really? Believe that one's a staircase. Oh, like it's replicating this staircase here. I see. That's fun. Oh, hey. It's our buddy. Sup? What else do we have going on? Who did this one? U-Turn by Incredibike. It's a good username. Yeah, I've noticed that there are a few pieces that don't have any information attached to them. Very interesting. A lot of detail on this one. This was either shot with a high-definition camera or just a good amount of light, because all the detail on that sign and the building behind it are coming through beautifully. All the railings, all the balconies, all the windows, the trees, even some of the leaves on the trees I can kind of tell are happening over in this area right here. It's a very European sign. We have U-turns in Michigan, but we only just got them recently. Or, like, of course we have U-turns, but we have, like, this style of U-turn. What are... No entry. What is that? Like a floating sign? All right, where are we on to next? Gallery 6. All right, so we got corn that way and beans that way. Midwest Dilemma. This is such a Midwest Dilemma. By GBC STL. Where in the Midwest does it say? A sign showing the hardest decision a true Midwesterner will ever take. It's very, very true. Not a lot going on in the Midwest. Not a lot. It's pretty dull here. Great shot. Love a shot that shows off lettering. Lettering, like clear lettering, is great. Capturing clear lettering is just always such a treat. Speaking of cats, we have another cat, Leia, by Raffo. My cat, Leia. This one's nice. Again, oh, another tuxedo cat. I love it. The eyes came through very well. Very clear eyes on this one, even though the rest of the cat's being like swallowed up by the background here. Just those cat eyes and cat whiskers. You can tell exactly what that is. This looks like a leaf. Silhouette of a Leaf by Nihad Kubad. Looks to be a zoom shot of some kind. I like the silhouette of the leaf kind of retreating into total darkness here, like up here having a little bit of dithering, but then down here it being totally black is very, very intriguing. And the spot dithering that's all over the rest of the image definitely ties together here. And I love that you can kind of see the outline of another one. This is a really, really striking shot of a leaf here. Leaves, also hard to shoot. Everything's really hard to shoot. From the roof tiles into the pool, by the sun, by slough, rather. Action shots must be pretty difficult to shoot. I haven't really done too many, so I can't speak out of experience. I just don't shoot that many people. But this is a child mid-jump. Must have been pretty hard to capture that one. There's a lot of detail on here, too. Not only just the dithered background, but just the sheer detail on the person jumping is very, very beautiful. Really great stuff here. What is going on with these signs here? Did we discover some kind of secret that I'm, like, just not aware of? What gallery are we in? Hold on a second. Are we going the right way? So, gallery 6 and 7. Hold on, 6. Did we look at 5? We did. We just came from 5. Okay. Al fin mirando al inicio by LMK Dots. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so this is almost literally stitched together here in the middle. But that is very cool. Very, very cool idea to do that. So we've got the palette swap version here and just the regular photo here. Palette swap is very interesting. Very nice palette, too, especially by the sea like that. But just the image of this person sitting by the sea is very nice. Very nice to have waited until that break starts rolling in there so you can get that white kind of complement against the shadow of the chair. And the hat and everything. That's some beautiful detail. Really, really good stuff there. Follow him on Insta. He's super good at making interesting shots. Yeah, again, when I'm done, I'm pretty sure I'm following LMK Dots. A lot of these people I am very familiar with, and a couple I'm not. The ones I'm not familiar with are very, very excited. Game Boy camera hand, I think that is. I know them. Horsepower. Oh, so we have like a diptych going in here. Strange glitch of these two images. Say what? Saved as one file. Blend of a horse and a Yugo. So a little bit of image corruption here, but in a good way. We got some horsepower here, a little bit of themage to tie it all together. We have a shot on a Japanese camera, of course, so this is the pocket camera border. A Yugo. What is that? So this appears to be shot. What is that mode called? Oh, no, I remember what it's called. It's dithering. So we turn dithering off in this photo, and that's how you can get a lot more of this, like, kind of shaded. Like, it's very, very, very shaded all over the hand. But this appears to be a hand holding a lighter with some flame. Oh, and that's a candle. Lighting up a candle. Look at that. Ah, Electric, of course. Should have known this was by Electric. I was watching him do some studies on Instagram, I believe. Yeah, that's a really nice image right there. I don't shoot enough with dithering off. I think I just like dithering too much. Plum by Void. Looks to be some kind of fire truck or something. Turning a corner, or a bus, maybe? Good detail on the bus. Good detail on the lines from these crosswalks here. All that detail, like, because these images are such low resolution and they're such low detail, minor detail like that really tips off a lot of what the subject could be. I've taken some photos where I'm just like, it looks pretty good, and then when I get to editing it and you blow it up to a slightly larger size, it's like nobody's going to be able to tell what this is. Like, only I know what this is, and I don't want to have to explain it. I want it to speak for itself. So to have like the crosswalk lines here, like that general kind of wheel hub, definitely tips off what the image is, because the rest of it, like up top here, the dithering really blends those trees together. But this is a very, very cool shot. It looks like it's shot from above too, so I wonder how they got this, like whether it be from a window or an overpass or something. Train by Breed. Train car spotted. So we have another train car here. A lot more detail on this one, including like the little, whatever you would call this part that goes up into the wire. I believe this is how these train cars get their power. A lot of detail on this one. Beautiful, beautiful detail. Nice Japanese train car there. The palette swap is really beautiful as well. Same with this one, that blue and red. Very, very aesthetically pleasing to look at. Sorry, buddy, calm down. It's just an art museum. Whose is this? Retro Lamb Cam, a self-portrait, a very 90s selfie. Well, this was the first selfie camera. It was what it was made for. Good image. Good image. Lots of detail. Whether you want it in here or not, I can tell that you've got some bags under your eyes or a little bit of like sunken eye like I do. The stark, like even that little part right there. I love that the Game Boy camera can capture such intimate detail, like a hair part. That's so crazy. This is a very cool one. I love the teeth as well. The teeth, the shading on the teeth is very interesting. And the palette's nice too. Very, very nice palette. Good shot. Good work. Good work. Tangenziale Est. I'm trying my best here. By Art Emisia 666. Really trying here. This looks like some overpasses, which are very, very fun to shoot on a Game Boy camera, of course. I also like the light kind of shining through here. I can't tell if that's a street light or the sun. Almost looks like it's like a street light maybe between the two structures here. But there's a lot of interesting composition here. The fact that we have like this building kind of swallowing up the side and everything sort of like leading down into a point all gels together in a very, very cool way. But I like this shot. I like this one very much. This one's really cool too. It looks like they took the border entirely out of it. Looks like a shopper. My Friend by Arthur... Name I'm going to butcher. Heidebuchel. I hope I pronounced that right. Nice shot of your friend. Really good here, especially considering that the darks in this image are not very dark. It's a very light palette all the way across. There's a tremendous amount of detail in this one. Can obviously tell they're at some kind of clothing store or like thrift shop or something. Can tell they're wearing a backpack. Can tell they're wearing some kind of hoodie or jacket. All that comes through very beautifully. Even with that light shining in there, we've got some light coming in. So this subject is sort of backlit. Shooting against the light can be pretty difficult. But this one came through beautifully. Great work. Great candid shot of somebody shopping. Who's that, Slappy? Willie Talk by Game Boy Camera Hand. So we have a ventriloquist dummy. Again, there's a lot of detail here, considering that most of like the darkest lines, the darkest darks are like in the eyes, and the eyes only. The teeth here come through like almost individually. And that is so interesting to look at here, especially against these eyes, which make you recognize it as a face right away. Gives you like weird uncanny valley, almost Disney-esque eyes. Is this another flower? Another like exploded flower? A Protean by Tristan Letter. King Protea shot in the San Francisco Botanical Gardens. Wow, that is a flower, huh? Very, very difficult to get that much fine detail. Maybe I need to look up a picture. What was this called? A Protean? Protean. Let's look up a Protean. I'm going to look up an image and we're going to compare it here. Holy cow. So a Protean has... How do I describe this? This is all right. First of all, if you've never looked at a Protean or you're unfamiliar with what a Protean looks like, look one up. They're nuts. Who did I just get hit by? Did you just hit me? I didn't know you could hit people in this game or in this library. Yeah, the Proteans from Mass Effect. Were those the big guys? Whoops. I love it. This shot is good, but the whatever you would call the middle of the flower, looks like it's like these fine kind of strand-like fibers, and they all sort of come to a point, almost like a cone in the front. So there's having the reference in front of me here. This photo is bonkers. It is crazy to get that much of this like kind of cross hatching going on here. It really looks like a mess of pixels here, but comparing it to like a photo of a Protean, wow, that's really something. Tremendous work there. Good Boy by Shoot View Play, which I think I'm only just recently following. That looks like one good boy, all right. One of the goodest boys. Look at those eyes. Just those little, like, sage dog eyes. You can also tell that the ears are either like those cropped ears or they're a little more rounded thanks to the detail of the Game Boy camera. Pets can be tough. Shooting, like, I've got a cat, and every now and then I can get some really striking images of her. She's got stripes. She's like a calico kind of striped cat. Or tiger striped cat, I guess you would call her. But I have to get her in really good light, and she doesn't always stand still for me. That's the problem, is, you know, animals like to move around. If I get my camera close enough to my cat, she'll want to smell it, so I can't shoot her very close up. And if I do, I have to be very, very quick about it. Great shot, again, foregoing the border here. Same with this one. This one doesn't have a border either. It's daring. I like when people do daring stuff with their Game Boy camera work. Grape Tomatoes by Nooch. Photo from the garden. I like the palette being so red and this photo being relatively abstract from a first view. Pardon me a moment. Talking so much, I got to clear my throat. Knowing that they're tomatoes, this photo immediately begins to stand out a little more. Not knowing they're tomatoes, you do look at it like, what are they? Are they berries? But the red palette kind of helps hammer that in. I love it. I love the implied circular effect here that the shadow gives here. Same with the shine on these tomatoes. Very, very cool. What do we have here? Looks kind of like the red of the Game Boy Color in Gen 2 Pokemon. It really does. That it does. These are like dark, dark reds. Very vibrant. Very, very good palette choice, I think. That frame's pretty dope. At the Mountains of Madness by Raphael Boychot. Wow. Mountains. The detail of the mountains came through very, very well. The border's an interesting choice. I like that border. Is that custom or is that on the Japanese camera? I don't believe that that's on the US camera. I have one of all of the cameras. I should know. Even got the gold one. Super duper rare gold one. That one was a bear to find. I've got a great story about how I came into possession of mine. I'll be sharing it on that podcast that I was talking about. It's kind of like one of the main reasons why I'll be on it. B23N. If you're still in the chat, here's one of yours. We found one. Evolution of capturing architecture via GB camera and stacking 3 exposures. So B23N. B23N. I love B23N's work. I think that they pick really, really interesting areas of the city to shoot. And I love the composite work. I think that they were one of the first, them and Airgak are the first two that I saw doing those like mass composite photos. And the detail that comes through is so rich, but they managed to do it in a way that that feeling of the Game Boy camera is still there. When you start doing some composites and the detail becomes too rich, I start falling into the kind of like Ship of Theseus mindset where I just start thinking, you know, like at what point in time does this stop being a Game Boy camera photo and it starts being something else? Which is why I like to shoot on stock and stock alone, because like my general philosophy is Nintendo made this. It is a camera, so, you know, it's art, it's subjective, do what you want with it. But Nintendo made this camera strictly with the idea of selling it to the masses as a mass consumable product. So I feel like, in a way, I'm one of the not the perfect candidate for this. That feels like too highfalutin, but I am a good candidate for this because while I have an appreciation for art and photography, I am not good at photography. I can't remember any of that stuff. F-stops, exposure, film types. I've taken multiple photography courses. None of that stuff sticks with me. I am just too dumb when it comes to like film cameras. So the more instant and the more point and shoot and like disposable or toy camera the camera is, the better it is for somebody like me. Quentin Wool, thank you for the follow. We're seeing a lot of new names today, which I'm very, very excited about here. But B23N, love your stuff, love your shot. It is in disarray right now because I was taking it apart for a moment, but I also scooped up. Let me see if I can throw this back together real quick and I'll try to show it off. B23N was also kind enough to sell me one of their clear Game Boy camera prototypes. And I use this all the time. It's kind of hard to tell, but the body is clear so you can see like all the circuitry inside of it. So there's the circuit board, here's all the chips on the back. But I have this very dope clear version of it. And like I said, I use it all the time. I bust it out all the time to show people like how the Game Boy camera works. So this thing, and it takes photos. The fact the clear body doesn't bother it one way, shape, or form. So thank you again, B23N, for parting with that. Seemed like you were a little hesitant to do it at first, but I'm glad that I was able to pressure you into doing it because it is a massively helpful tool that I use all of the time. Why'd I ever think this was a good idea? By Tony Arroyo Photo. What did that say? Pugfest, the Crowfoot Ballroom in Pontiac, Michigan, another Michigan local. Hey, man. Tony Arroyo Photo, you and I got to link up sometime because this is a fantastic shot. Look at the detail in this band. Low light environment. I know the Crowfoot. This appears to be upstairs. I think this is either upstairs or, well, I guess they only have a couple stages. But this is really, really nice. Concert photos are hard. They are really, really hard. So you had to be pretty close to the action to get that shot. But man, look at that. Drummer, drums, guitarist, guitar. Looks to be a bass or another guitar. Look at all that detail. Really great pick. I agree. Splody Baloney to have a white border on this really draws the attention in. I am so stuck in my ways that I decided to use a black border here with no like trademark Game Boy camera stuff, and I'm the kind of person where if I like pick a way, I like to just do that way and maintain it for as long as I'm doing the project. So I've sort of written myself into this corner, and I'm like, I don't want to get out of it. But this white border is very, very classy. Great photo here, Tony Arroyo Photo. I'll be looking for you if I can, try to find you on Insta, but we got to link up. Love finding all my local Michigan funtographers here. The Bean by Hello Cat Food, is that what that said? Every Chicagoite will know the Bean. I used to live in Chicago before I moved up here to Michigan. I recognize the Bean. It's the Bean. The Bean is probably hard to shoot, and this looks like this is also shot with one of those first model Game Boy camera chipboards. So the detail is light. The Revision 2 or the VA2 or whatever you'd want to call that second model chip can allow for some darker darks. If it is that kind of board that does allow for darker darks. Again, it doesn't always do it, but it has a chance of having darker darks. But this one's very interesting because the Bean itself is just a huge reflective mirror surface. It's a huge sculpture. It must be like 2-3 stories tall. But getting that detail, that curve there, you can walk under it. There's like, it's bean shaped. So it's got this kind of arch that you can like go under and walk under. And you can see that arch right there, as well as the reflection of like the sun and the rest of the city here. God, I used to know the name of that building and now I'm blanking on it. It's not the Sears Tower. It's the other one. Some Chicago resident I was. But these are all looking really good. Hello Cat Food. That is a great shot. We've looked at all these here too. This one, Freddy by Harry FK. My dog watching intently what's going on outside the window. That is a dog. That is a dog, all right. You can see that kind of like arched sitting, which is very cool. What's Vetriolo saying? The top 10 hardest things to shoot with the Game Boy camera, in your opinion. 10 of them? You want 10 of them? I'll try to think of as many as I can. Low light Low light in general is tough. Clouds are tough to make interesting. But you can get some very, very cool photos if you allow the camera time to focus in on the clouds. But I think getting like very solid, like blobby cloud structures is hard. Otherwise, the light is too intense and it just turns it into a dither. Animals can be hard to shoot as well, just because they simply don't stand still. And then sometimes if you're waving this like close enough to their face, they'll be interested in seeing it because it looks like an eye, so they get a little closer to it, you know what I mean? What else? What else is hard to shoot? Detail. Getting up close is really hard. You can hold it pretty close to something, but it's not going to get all that detail. The actual focus is somewhere between like 1 and 3 feet or something like that. So getting any closer than that, you start getting diminishing returns. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm sure I'll be thinking of some other ones here. I'll just kind of bring them up as I address them. It's also really hard. I have a photo on my Instagram of like blinds, like sheer curtains that have this kind of pattern design in it. So I was able to get the light and the folds of the curtain, but I had to sit there for a while and like really finagle the brightness and the contrast until it looked like something that actually resembled fabric. Fabric can be really hard to get too. But yeah, just generally you're kind of stuck to like the mid-range of focus. You can't do far away focus too well, unless it's large and far away like a mountain or a building, and you can't do close focus like if it's text. If I'm holding up a book, it's really hard to like focus in on the text and get all that in there. So working in both of those extremes can also be very, very difficult in the Game Boy camera. Great detail on the plant in this one, as well as like the shade, so you can tell the dog is looking out towards like a light source or a window here. But this is a really, really nice shot. Nice little candid shot of another good dog. Looks like a steamboat. Ghost Ship by Pixel Aberration. What do we got going on here? A trichromatic of a ferry boat. That's the word I'm thinking of. So a trichromatic is that thing where you take the 3 colors, take a photo of the red wavelength, the green wavelength, and the blue wavelength, smash them together and add, there's like a color filter or something that you can kind of do on Photoshop, and it'll bring in these color photos here to a black and white format. So this is a tricolor composure. Trichromatic. Lord, I've already forgotten what. Again, not an expert, simply an enthusiast of the arts. But this is great. There's a lot of really interesting detail, and the fact that this tree, it appears to be some kind of tree behind it, has turned blue because of the trichromatics is very, very cool. But the red on that ship come through very, very, very well. That red, like bordering is very, very clean, and you know that the stacked layers of a steamboat, it's so important to see those layers. That's a good shot. Very, very good shot there. Ooh, some pigeons up above. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff there. Wow, look at that. Was that a butte? Bear Lodge, the Devil's Tower. That's what I'm thinking of. The Devil's Tower. By J. Jason Lazarus. This is a beautiful image. Beautiful image. I don't know if they did the coloring themselves, whether they did that kind of isolation coloring themselves, but it is gorgeous. Look at that. Just that stark stone color against the blue sky. Really, 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 really good shot there. Devil's Tower is also, I've never been to Devil's Tower, but it's just one of those like American landscape things that's just so crazy. It's just like this huge vertical spire with like a flat top. I think it's kind of nearish the Grand Canyon, or it should be in the desert somewhere. Holy crow! Look at that. This panorama looks to be taller than what the panorama would normally allow. The normal panorama takes 4 images and smashes them together. So it's 440? No, 112 times 4. So 448 images or pixels. But this appears to be a little bit longer than that. Beautiful shot of the woods here. God. Look at these tree trunks. They go all the way up. Beautiful image there, especially with the palette swap. Thomas VGBC, you should be super duper proud of this one. Getting a seamless panorama image like that is so difficult. So difficult. This one appears to be another composite photo by Raffo. Unknown by Raffo. People talking about art at the Pinacoteca Museum. Did I pronounce that right? Sao Paulo, Brazil. So yeah, this appears to be like one of those HDR kind of composite shots where you would take multiple shots and stack them all together. Quentin Wool, what's up? What's up? First time chatter in here. Welcome to the museum tour. God, we still have so much more to go. There's so many pieces in here. Vintage clock by Nihad Kubad. I cannot apologize enough for anybody's names that I've butchered here. It's an angled picture of an antique clock. Beautiful images. The numbers on the clock face came through very, very well. It's funny that looks like a 6 because of the shading and everything. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but I can tell it's a 5. Quentin's got 2 photos in the show. I believe that we have seen them. If not, I will give you a shout out. Oh my God. Look at this one. 1/2 by F. Scott. We got some Ranma in here. Love anime. This is really nice. Beautiful piece. I really, what can I say about the pixel artwork? I love pixel artwork. That's all that this is. So getting like cute pixel artwork of Ranma like that, really beautiful. Great picture with the palette. Nice. Which building is this? Saint Severin by Game Boy Camera Cologne. Look at that. Game Boy Camera Cologne, I also follow. Been following them for some time. An RGB stack of Saint Severin Church. Beautiful. Again, just very difficult to get such stark, singular colors that fill in areas like this blue, this very turquoise blue, very bright blue, and the trees coming through like that, and the building being like that kind of pale off yellow. Like, really amazing that these stacked up so well. Again, it is very difficult to get that trichromatic color to stack as well as it does. Oh, we have like... Is this another one of B23N's pieces? I think it might be. Quiet at the Capitol by Back to Ghost. What is that? 2 vertical images, 2 vertical angles of a sidewalk view of the Capitol Theater in Windsor. Oh, so vertical images meaning that they shot it sideways. I should probably try to do this sometime. Again, when I stick to formats, I like to stick to formats. Air, what's up, buddy? He's here. So you are you one of the main contributors to the museum as well? Have you been helping to build the museum out? What are these? Oh, that's how we get the view of that. Don't want to miss that one. Really great photo of these two here. My dad and a friend in 1998. Oh, wow. Holy cow. This is cool. This is so cool. I love that they were able to get this off the camera from 1998. That is really, really dope. And a great image, too. Really, really fantastic image. It almost looks like the two of them are holding cigars. Like that black line there almost looks like he's got a cigar or something in his hand. Very, very good detail there. That's striking. And the fact that it's from the era makes it even more exciting for me. Again, I wish I had any of the stuff I shot. I used to just shoot stuff, and because I didn't have a camera, I couldn't print them. So I would just delete them after a while. Portrait at Fitton Green by Kellen Holt and Melanie Holt. Beautiful here. Some really nice pixel artwork here. This is like one of those classic, if you're a Game Boy camera funtographer or a fan of pixel artwork, this would be a good one to seek out. Because of the hidden images. If you can spot the guy right away, that's great. But unless you know what to look for, this might be a little more abstract. Like you might not be able to tell what these are or that this is a person. But we're all pixel artists here. So being able to see like that mustache and the beard, the eyes up here, the zipped up coat. Looks like he's wearing some kind of vest or something with his hands in his pockets. That's very, very cool. Great shot. Great shot. Same with this one. Love these abstract pieces. Nebula by GBC Rudy. Travel through the space in your mind. I wonder what this was. This is a really cool shot for the Game Boy camera because of that kind of pattern effect in the pixel art, making it just look like legitimate hand-done pixel art. Looks like a black hole of some kind or some sort of like evil sun or moon just radiating energy in the sky. It's very cool. Very, very cool image here. Vitriolo, are you heading out? It was really great to see you. Also great to have a buddy like follow me around here. This is great. Hollow as You Figured by Tony Arroyo Photo. Another Tony Arroyo photo. This looks to be another concert photo by Tony Arroyo. I wonder if this is also at the Crowfoot. Great to see you, Vitriolo. Thank you so much for joining, like both in person and in chat. Really awesome. This is great. This is a good shot here. There is so much negative space in this like bright white, but wow, the detail on that head come through so well. You can tell it's somebody looking downwards more than they're looking upwards and tuning a guitar. All the shadow here on these amps and whatnot are very cool. Very, very cool. I got to think of a word other than cool to describe these photos, but I don't know, maybe not that eloquent. Print Roller by Matt Danish. So is this the interior of a printer? This appears to have some HDR effects on it. The shading, like the pointillism of the dithering on here appears to be too light, and the shading is very fine. Is this more than 2 bits? This is more than 2 bits. So yeah, this is like an HDR photo of the interior of a printer from the looks of it. Really, I love this. Like as an abstract piece, this is great. I love this one is really, really soft. The soft focus like here and just that kind of dithering effect over these more gray chunks of the interior of the printer are very interesting. It almost gives it like a screen tone effect, which matches the printer, the themage of the printer. Is here a parrot? All right, so Gallery 8 is downstairs. We're going to have to get down there somewhere. Somehow. Must be some way down there. Let's keep looking. Wow, big space here. Real big space here. The Trees of Honolulu by Joff. What was that? A photograph of a group of monkey pod trees taken in Honolulu, Hawaii. Rich detail. Super rich detail. Wow. Really good stuff here. The detail on the branches of the tree are really eloquent. Really elegant and beautiful. Not eloquent. Elegant. Love an artist that utilizes all this negative space here. Kind of gives you that bright, sandy feeling of Hawaii. The sky is also really vibrant and framed up really well against this tree where it's almost making the treetop look like it's glowing. That's a great piece. Looks like we got a car interior. Was that a Nissan? 24 in bits control. Or maybe an Audi or something like that. By Stephen Edward Kren. Very, very rich detail here. This looks like possibly somebody's hair. There's that beautiful kind of edge detection going on there where you can really see those fine edges of the steering wheel, all the detail of like the speedometer and the readout. Really great capture of the interior of a car there. Very, very nice work. Ooh, what's this? This is spooky. Germain by Tony Dodge, a Norwegian troll I found at a thrift store. I named him Germain. This is nice. Very creepy. I like it. I like the like surreal creepiness of this, where we have these like beady little eyes or shines in these larger, like whatever it is, it's unsettling. But to have this like faint, wide smile with this big nose, big eared, lifeless eye troll. And then to have it not have that much rich detail is very interesting too. From a distance, you can really, whoa, that's very interesting. The game trying to keep up with all the pixel artwork there. That's a good piece. I like that one. Very interesting, very unique. Lone Tree in the Fall by Splody. Splody, it's one of yours. Look at that tree. Look at the detail on that one. Look at that one. That is nice. Another chef kiss. How'd you get this one? If you can speak to this one a little bit, is this just a trichromatic, or did you use like multiple exposures to get this one? The detail on the trees are so rich. Very rich. It makes this tree stick out so much more because the rest of the ground is so pale considered to like, or compared to the trees and the sky and everything. It's an HDR trichromatic. This one came out really wonderfully. Just that like focus of color in the middle is great. Really commands all your attention there into the middle. That's a good one. That color turned out really, really well. Looks like we got, what is this, Van Gogh over here? Untitled by Zuckers. Portrait of Vincent Van Gogh from the Van Gogh, The Immersive Experience. Oh, I went to the Immersive Experience. It was a good time. I've got a couple photos from it. Not like this, though. Look at that. Speaking of spooky, so we got this little spooky troll over here, and then we have, like, you know, the famous painting of Van Gogh, but isolated like that certainly makes it, like, a little more sinister, especially seeing it in, like, such stark black and white. Almost 90 images? Are you serious? Wow. I imagine you have it set on some kind of tripod and maybe something to take the images, or maybe you're using, do I have it here with me? Using a pick and rec for that, maybe? Something that takes, like, multiple pictures at a high rate? So here's another one of the fun things that I have. This one might not show up very well, but a lot of Game Boy camera users use this pick and rec, which you can use to capture like a lot of... It basically records, but it does it where it just captures the frame rate. Just let photo do the bracketing. Wow, that's incredible. Same with this photo of Van Gogh, the painting. Like, look at all the line work. It's so gnarly. Comes through so well. Really great shot by Zuckers again. Why do we have this little alcove over here? Now I'm on the lookout for secrets, now that I know that there are so many secrets in here. Cartridge by Recollection by Cartridge Recollection by Quentin Lanes. Lannis? So what are we looking at here? Looks like a window and a table. I'm gonna see if I can find that other half of, oh, there it is. Dropped a bunch of stuff out of there. I want to make sure I don't lose it. So that one's quite nice. Oh, this one's one of yours. Ah, all right, cool. So yeah, this looks like a table. We got some chairs, some potted plants and everything. Yeah. Just like a magic eye. I love that the Game Boy camera can sometimes offer up like those hidden details where you're just like, okay, yeah. And the more you look at it, it's like, oh, there's somebody in the photo, or like there's multiple people in the photo, or oh, there's plants. Like seeing these plants here. These didn't stand out to me immediately until I like focused in on the image there. It looks like we got maybe 2 or 3, possibly 2. Really nice slice of life image here. Just like a corner of a home. I like it. A lot of rich detail in here. That's the patio at my parents' house. Very nice. You can see like a tree in the background, the trunk of a tree. Good work there, man. Good work. 2-Bit Wizard, Untitled, looks like some kind of radio or something shot through blinds. This is all very interesting. Beautiful palette swap as well. Beautiful, you can see the vents and everything, the dial, all the detail on the dial. Some really great detail on this one. What are we looking at here? Hello, My Old Friend by ya boy Lefty. A pet skull? Oh my god, it's a pet skull. What kind of pet? So that looks like the eye. Those look like the teeth, and that must be the nose. I wonder, is that like a snake skull? Cat skull, maybe? Getting an image like that is one of the first couple of tricks that I learned on the Game Boy camera. And this is kind of an example of pushing the camera into that lower light focus. I have a photo of watermelon that I took once, and it's just like a plate of watermelon, and the entire background is pitch black. And it's not that I was shooting it on a black background, it's just that the light reflecting up off the table was able to turn black once I pushed the contrast down far enough. And I imagine that the same photographer here did the same thing. Otherwise, you have to go in and like manually add this black background, but you can capture it in camera if your source is reflecting enough light to trick the Game Boy camera into thinking you're in a lower light situation than you actually are. So a lot of, again, I encourage everybody, if you have a Game Boy camera, just to like get out there and shoot with it. Like if you have a Game Boy Pocket, I use a Game Boy Pocket as my main shooter. It's great because you can just whoop, throw it right in your pocket and go. I thought that last one was Radio 2, but on second look, it might be a Land Rover headlight. Oh, maybe? Oh, I can see that. With like a grate or one of those like grids in front of it. Like a cow catcher or whatever. They seem kind of fine, though. Yeah, who knows what that is? I love it. Oh my god, J-Train. Us Game Boy camera fanatics are sick people. We are really, really disturbed. I've been a part of this community for several years now, and I'm loving seeing like the influx of people that show up. But I remember, like, thinking that I was the craziest one, and then getting into the Discord and realizing, like, no, I'm really one of the more tame photographers out there. Like Airgak, for example, posted like a photo one day of just a couple of stray pixels or something, and then elaborated that it was a photo of Jupiter, I believe. I think he had attached it to a like super high power telescope. So like, it's just, there's no limit to the creativity that I feel from the Game Boy camera community, which is all fascinating because the camera itself is so highly restrictive. Oh, I thought that was yours. Who was that then? Oratal, thank you for the follow. But still, like all the like 2-Bit Boy totally redesigned the Game Boy camera. Chris, who's at the Game Boy camera, did an even crazier mod where you take the entirety of the Game Boy camera and you shrink it into a standard Game Boy size cartridge so it doesn't have all the extra bulbous camera and stuff. Yeah, we're all crazy there. But there is quite a vibrant community. I don't have the link to the Game Boy Camera Club Discord, but I'll try to post it in the show notes once I do that. All of this will be posted to YouTube as well. I'd like to keep this as more of a permanent fixture. So I'm going to do that when we're all done. But there'll be links and whatnot. I'll try to link as many people as possible. The Abyss by Pixelated Eye. I believe I'm following Pixelated Eye. Cool shot. Cool shot, especially with the thematics of like it kind of being a mysterious doorway into who knows where. You can almost tell that there is a person standing here. Whether that actually is a person standing there or that's just more of like the path leading into the structure. It's very cool that that shape is human-like and then they're just being totally swallowed up by the abyss. Very cool, kind of Midsommar-esque. Ooh, we're getting a lot of bops on our shuffle today. That's great. And for anybody watching on the VOD or the YouTube, when that's eventually popped up there, you may be thinking, why can't I hear the music? And that's because I don't want to get in trouble with the DMCA, so music is for live streamers only. You will hear it on the live stream, but it is not recorded on the VODs, so more reason for you to watch me live. Subway Fence by Ray Olson. What did that say? Corner fence piece above stairs with white tile on walls. Very self-explanatory. That is exactly what that is. The palette swap is nice, adds a little more interesting element to it, but these lines are very clean, especially this rail line here, kind of shining like that. Very clean diagonal line there. Diagonals can be kind of tough to get. Ooh, look at how clean that is. That is just like dot, 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 pure diagonal, except right here. Then it starts getting a little, that must be the end of the railing. But getting that, just that perfect line, that is so difficult. And then also all this other line, like the rails here, all this line work is very, very impressive to keep so steady like that. Nice shot. What is going on up here? Let's look at this one first. Orbs by Ian Marsh, abstract photo of globular lighting fixtures appearing otherworldly. They sure do. Now that is some globular photography if I've ever seen one. Globes can be fun because of that dithering effect. Like anything that is purely round that reflects gets a very nice like shine, kind of pixel shine that comes off. Oh, and it's so good. So good. Palette swap, again, makes it very, very interesting. Eenie Boy, is that who did this? Ian Marsh, Eenie Boy. Great photo, great composition, too. I love how it's kind of smack in the middle with size variation here. Makes it exciting to look at. Speaking of things that are exciting to look at, what's going on up here? Enter by Beccarto. Beccarto? An opening door leading to the land of anti-sun. Very interesting display. Is it getting closer? It is hard to tell without being able to get closer to the image. Is it the same image, but just smaller and smaller? Or are you getting closer and closer to the door? Very interesting that it's so high up. Whoa. What are we looking at here? Capture the wave again with another one of these interesting landscape shots. This one more interesting than the other because it's a inverted image, kind of paired in the middle here. Very interesting. Really creative idea to just flip the image like that. That glowing effect is so wild. I really want to know how they got that. And what that is. Like, it seems like, I don't know, like ridges of a cavern or something. I think the flipping was the curator. Well, they did a good job because it makes this piece very interesting. Oh, is that it for this gallery? Oh, gone through another gallery. So now where to? Head down to 7 and 8. No entry. That's what you say. That's what you think. I think it was also an emulator-assisted image. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, the lines and everything were so clean on that one. I was wondering how they were able to get it. And what it is exactly. Pixel Gates by Jalal Yassin. Another shot by Jalal. Shooting some very interesting, intricate glasswork here. This artwork showcases the intricate mosaics and architectural details. Man, very jealous of the area of the world that they live in because there must be such interesting architecture there. Look at that. Lots of beautiful archways. You can see all the ornate design, even like this piece here, which is either inside the building or if this is all glass. Really nice piece here. Really beautiful stuff. Sparks. Autumn Walk by Sparks. Man, us photographers, we love taking pictures of trees, don't we? Trip to the local park with the kids. Beautiful image of a tree. Love that it's on the film strip border, and I love the simple green and black palette. It just says tree, and it is an example of a tree. And I love how the leaves are all just kind of like fanned out almost. Like a big bush of Christmas tree. Like, I don't know what kind of tree this is, but there's a lot of interesting detail in it that makes the image very, very exciting. There are many worlds, but they share... Can't read the entire thing. Created using the 2-bit toy camera and an RGB lens. I also can't tell who did this one. Oh no, this one's getting cut off. Whoever did this one, the capture of the light is really staggering. That RGB blending, like this section right here is so cool to look at. Again, that word cool, but look at it. Like this glowing effect and the yellow, these bright, like fiery colors coming off that light. That is an awesome effect. Very, very cool effect. I would be very pleased if that popped up in one of my color photos here. Not that I do any. I don't. I think I've done one. Who did this piece? Where's the button for this one? There's no button for this one. This one's really interesting and staggering. It looks like mouths, veins and uvulas and teeth. Is this a road? Side of a building, maybe? Who knows? by Hunter Jacob. Some more graffiti. Really nice capture on the graffiti here. Graffiti's pretty fun to shoot, especially like big block letters. I don't really shoot too much of it. I think just generally me, I'm like, that's somebody else's art. I'll let them have it rather than just try to not take credit for it. That's a really rude thing to say, because it is really something to take these pieces and like translate them into pixel art like that. I don't want to diminish anybody's graffiti photography, because graffiti is a valid art form and so is shooting it. There's some really great capture here, though. Just the detail on it, and even like the signature, like what, looks to be a signature here at the final letter. All really cool to see that kind of like squiggly art here in the rest of this very clean wall capture. The one from before was Thomas Haynes. There are many worlds, but they share the same sky. Number 12. Thomas Haynes. Very cool. If anybody has information about this one, that would be good to know, because I can't find anything about it. And it's really, really striking, really vibrant. Is this oxes, not to scale? All right. So it is a handwritten note photographed with the Game Boy camera, parentheses, not to scale. I think that other one is also by Funtos. All right, cool. If it is by Funtos, this one's crazy. I don't know how you did this one, if it's a capture of a painting or if it's pixel art on a capture or whatever. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Wait, what gallery is this? 7. Try to do these in order as much as I can. Big Place by Calcium Chan. It's a big place. Whoa. Wait, appears to be closer than the other one. Oh, this one? Hey, there we go. We found it. I totally forgot about this one over here, and it was this button. Grounded by Funtos. Good piece. Really good piece. Try to give everybody credit as much as possible. Run back over to this one. So Big Place by Calcium Chan. I've only shot the inside. This looks to be like a barn or attic of some kind. I've only shot the inside of like wooden barn structures like this a handful of times. They're fun. They're very fun to shoot. That like lattice work, or just the crisscross of beams can be very interesting, especially with this light source here at the end. J-Train, you should 1000% pick up a Game Boy camera. I think you should be able to find them. Japanese ones are usually a little bit cheaper because there's more of them. I think those you should be able to find for maybe around like 30, 40 bucks. I think the market price on a Game Boy camera nowadays is around like 50 or 60. But they're worth it. Excuse me while I get a little snack here. Photographers shooting graveyards. It's just one of the token things that us photographers love to shoot. Look at this grave. This lone grave. It's such a sad piece, just with the muted palette as well. This is a very nice piece. I do like this one a lot. Especially because it's a photo of somebody's grave. It's like very nice and respectful and somber. Really interesting that they shot it from so far away. Kind of gives it a really sad, isolated feeling. And then you can see like all these lumps of shadow, being the other graves in the graveyard. And you can even see some of the details on them. That's very interesting. This is a great piece. Again, big shout out to Aaron Grissom. Really great capture. I like this one. Ooh, look at this one. Trichromatic Flower by GB Camera BR. And what did the note say? It was a gift for an ex-girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, I'm so sorry. Flowers, though. Beautiful image. Beautiful image. HDR, so of course it's going to be very clean, and the color is going to come through really well, but the color on that jar, I think, is really intriguing because it's that nice, like, gray. It captured the jar in a really interesting way, or they isolated out the jar and just left the gray. But either way, I think that helps. It kind of adds this nice like tinted glass effect to it, and there's some beautiful color in the petals and everything here of the flower. I'm sorry that these were for an X though. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Another panorama here, very clean panorama. Slit scan people by AirGack, or a slit scan. Using some slit scans here. Here's another one by AirGack. That troublemaker AirGack. This one is really intriguing. Oh, okay. So I thought that these were like beams. These are also people. So this must be... I'm not super familiar with like a slit scan. Is it literally like a slit and you just kind of pan it across and it captures? Like it's almost like that filter, that like TikTok filter or Instagram filter, right? Where it just kind of like scans in the image as you pan across it, if I remember correctly. I think that's also how you get that like speed line effect on that background there to make it look like these people are moving really quickly against some kind of flat walkway. This is all visually very, very exciting. Very cool. Some of these people, almost like these two back here, it almost looks like they're riding skateboards. This one's so cool. Wow. Did a great job on that one. Oh, we got some rolling waves. These are all fun. Waves crashing by GB Cameroid. MR Olio. However you would pronounce that. Collage of waves crashing on sand. The narrow people are the ones walking against the scan direction. The normal ones were walking with the scan direction. That makes sense. These are all beautiful. They almost look like landscapes, you know what I mean? Like solar land or like lunar landscapes of moons. Like that wave effect, that like really kind of crunched up wave effect is very, very cool. And definitely fun to shoot waves, shoot the beach with a Game Boy camera, especially like the foam because it's so vibrant against water. I definitely have a couple photos of some like sea foam rolling in. The palette's also very beautiful, but doing this as like a 2x3 grid of images is all very, very interesting visually. Kind of helps you to stay locked in it and then keep wait, this one or this one? Or at all? Are we talking about this one? This one's crazy. Who's this? Will Jovi, female model showing how to use the human form to twist, trying to see if W. We didn't get the whole thing there. It appears to be... This looks like a back. That's the spine. If I had to guess, their head is here and they are leaning forward somehow with their hand on their back. Very intriguing, very interesting abstract shot here. It's almost suggestive. Like you can tell that it's like a back and a spine and that this is like the shine of a bending form. Really, really interesting photo here. The hand is so clear, but then the rest of the body is just so vague. I think that's what makes it suggestive, but in a very interesting way. I don't say suggestive in a bad way. I never do. Whoa! Look at these. These are all very vibrant. Triptycho by 23K Pixels. I know 23K Pixels. Taken between two cities, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Los Angeles. So we have some botanicals here, some cactuses and whatnot. Very beautiful details on the cactus. Look at how pointy that silhouette is. And these flowers came through so clear. Really good stuff here. Same with this. Very, very clean pattern work. Look at this architecture. Oklahoma shout out indeed. Where the rain comes sweeping down the plains. My ex is actually from Oklahoma, speaking of exes. And another beautiful image of flowers. Really, really clean and crisp work here. It's just so staggering whenever you, like personally, just speaking out of my own experience, I feel pretty confident whenever I take a photo, but there is always like about 20% of uncertainty where you're just like, I hope this turns out good. I hope this turns out really well. And then when I upscale it later, I hope it looks good too, so that people can enjoy it when I share it. But every time I take that photo, there's just like a little tinge of like, I don't know, it looks good to me, but it might not turn out well at all. I think I never publicly shared the ROM to make you these. Remind me if you want to. Ooh, nice. Ooh, this looks like A Bauhaus album cover. 2-bit eclipse by Michael Volek. So that's the solar eclipse. I knew somebody would get a shot of that. Photo of the solar eclipse. Beautiful, beautiful. The solar eclipse was a fun time. I have a photo of me, a selfie of me in the eclipse, with the eclipse light shining on me that I took with the Game Boy camera. But I did not have any kind of method to take a photo of the eclipse. I'm glad that somebody did. Michael Volek. Oh, beautiful piece. I knew it. I knew it. I knew that would be somebody that I follow. Is this another eclipse? Another eclipse by Justin Barrett. This is the 2024 total eclipse. It's captured by fitting a 5 to 50 millimeter lens on it. Very interesting. I love the two. The two next to each other as well are great. The eclipse corner. Are there any more eclipses here? What's this one? Is this also an eclipse? Nah, just a lamp. Probably have told by that little line right there indicating a street lamp or whatever. Wow, they managed to capture the halo and everything. Look at that clean capture of the halo of light. That is really impressive stuff there. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't get it, like, when it was right here, kind of at its apex, then it would turn, like this one, you can see that, that crescent shape starting to happen here. I think it would also depend on where you took it from, too. That aura of light is great. Yeah, you got real lucky with this one, or timed it out just perfectly. But look at that. It's just a beautiful capture of, like, the totality of the eclipse. It's funny, the day of the eclipse, I remember watching it and going, I wish that I could take a photo of this somehow, but I'll leave it up to some other psychopath. I know that somebody's going to do it. And then I believe later that day, I saw that one that you did, Finch. Night at the Carnival 3 by Neen. Look at this. That one famous ride. Beautiful capture of these letters, which I assume are like neon sign or like the kind of Broadway style like bulbs that surround it. Shooting lights like neon lights are fun. It's one of the excuse me, probably one of the top 10 easiest things to shoot on a Game Boy camera. On the flip side of my earlier list of like hardest things to shoot on a Game Boy camera, lights are easy, especially lights like this, lettered lights. You can get some great shots out of it. But I do love that they didn't get it so crisp that you can still see like the glow of the light all around it. And then even not editing out like this other light here is bold and very brave. And I like that they left it there because it does lend to the rest of the image. Whenever I shoot stuff, I try not to edit out pixels. Very rarely will I. I think it happens like once every like 30 or 40 images that I upload will I ever be like, well, this one pixel here needs to go because it's like ruining something. But this just appears to be everything left in its place, and I love that. This looks like some kind of structure in the water, maybe? Blockhouse by Jon Lapieu? An upside-down concrete bunker on a French shore. So this is like a wave breaker, huh? One of those, like, not Normandy-style wave breakers, but big concrete ones. Really interesting. This one kind of borders on the abstract as well because of all this negative space here. Without knowing that it's a structure, you can kind of like infer that it's maybe on some kind of water or sandy area, but it does look like some kind of abstract structure just buried in the ground with the sky kind of overtaking this corner here. But that one's a very nice piece as well. Take a little look around, see if there are any secrets or goodies that we're missing. I know that photo. That's a fun one. We'll get to that one here in a second. Whoa! Really opens up here. All right. So, where should we start? Maybe along the wall? Start along the wall. We'll try to fish our way around as much as possible. David Gaspar. Peaceful. Very peaceful. Nice shot of a tree here. Beautiful branches. Love that the leaves here. The branches are so solid, but the leaves are all like hardly there, and I do love that very much about the Game Boy camera. Again, all that detail where your brain will just kind of fill it in, where you go like, all right, well, these are tree branches, so these must be leaves. And I always think that's like such a fascinating area of the Game Boy camera and the photographs that it can get out of it. Roger Stevens building by Adam French. What is this? The brutalist behemoth in the center of Leeds University. Very cool. I like that they have kind of shoved it here into the middle, like especially because it's such a boxy, brutalist building with this interesting texture here to the front of it and no texture to the back. Focuses your eyes there on the middle of it. I also like that the shadow in the image is isolated like here, largely at the bottom, and then a little bit up top. Kind of makes a nice little, like almost like painted sliver here across the top for the image to be in. Look at these dogs. I'm surprised that we're not seeing more animals. Seymour, Seymour, Seymour by Rilo Billy. Seymour, Seymour, Seymour. Look at this good dog. So this one must have been shot through some kind of like prism lens or something to get that kind of effect. There's no in-camera effect to do that kind of composite work. But this one's really, really interesting. It's interesting how they got that effect. I'm wondering if it's a prism effect because you can kind of see this like shade right here where there isn't really any of that. There's like a little bit of light right here. So if I had to guess, it'd be one of those lenses that splits up an image into 3, maybe like this, because there's also some lighter pixel work going on there. I love it. Looks like a nice concert photo again. Praise the Code by Shane Lee Levin, Ninebreaker. Really, or maybe it's not. Is it? That looks like a guitar and a guitar neck. I think this is a concert photo, but the light coming down on this subject on the right, that capture is great. Just seeing that pillar, that God ray, just landing right on top of this person, and then having this whole left side of them lit up by it is very cool. Love that there's the other silhouette captured here as well. You can kind of see something sticking up here, maybe another guitar neck, or maybe even over here. This is a very, very striking image. I like this one. I like this one quite a lot. Whoa! Love this one. I love the white border and the detail of the fern. Macro Megan, of course. Macro Megan has been taking such good plant photography. I don't understand how they're able to do it. Plants, I'm gonna add it to the list. Plants can be tough to shoot. They can be tough to shoot. They can be tough to shoot for reasons I was totally unaware of until I started digging into the Game Boy camera community. And through them, I learned that plants give off ultraviolet light. I'm sure I've heard this somewhere via Magic School Bus or whatever, but they give off a little bit of UV light. Oritol! Creeping while we're giving our little our rant. But these are hard to take. You either have to take a UV filter and throw it over your camera so it gets rid of a lot of it, but a lot of detail gets lost when you're shooting plants because of that UV light bounces back and the camera has no filter to get it. Oritol. Macro Megan has been really crushing it. They're one of my favorite Game Boy camera follows. They do some really, really, really good stuff. Big Mac and Coffee by Trenka Attila. Oh, I skipped out on breakfast, and this is not good. I'm like chomping down on some pieces of apple pie that I have left over from yesterday. Excuse me. Oh, wish I had any of this right now. Wish I had a coffee. Wish I had a Big Mac. Really good photo of the Big Mac, though. Look at that bun. The detail on the bun. You can see the pixels, the sesame seed pixels. Really good. Yeah, this is a great song. Again, those who are watching live get to hear the music, but those watching on VOD or YouTube, I appreciate your support, but you won't be able to hear it. It's for live streamers only, baby. I don't want to get in trouble with the DMCA, so I don't record it on my my recorded VODs and stuff. So here's a little Andy Warhol homage next to a photo of Andy Warhol, who, pretty sure this is by 2-Bit Boy, right? There it is. I knew it. Oh, this one's also by 2-Bit Boy. I wonder who commissioned him to do all this Warhol artwork. The Game Boy camera, I feel like, falls into the same kind of basic artistic argument as modern art, or like the Warhol Campbell soup can, where people are just like, oh, it's just a can of soup. Doesn't belong in a museum. I could do that. And it's like, yes, but he did it first, and then actually pursued it being up in a museum. Getting my work in a real gallery felt really surreal when it was accepted, because I'm like, oh, any day now they're just going to hit me up and tell me that this was made with a video game and that it shouldn't be allowed to be hung up next to other photographs and other artwork. But, I think it's that same idea where it's like, look, it is art. It is subjective. What we got? Lomo style. Photos of mundane things are really good on the Game Boy camera. Yeah, Lomo style, indeed. Indeed. There's a lot of talking for me to do, especially impromptu when I wasn't prepared to do a stream today, but thank goodness I am. This, I believe, was a photoshopped, well, it's obviously not a real piece, but it is a photoshopped piece of Warhol with a camera, and then it looks like it was translated into HDR or into, this pixel art format for the gallery. So very interesting to have a photo not taken on a Game Boy camera, but one that involves a Game Boy camera involved with the gallery. But, if it had to be anybody's, of course it was 2-Bit Boys. Comedian pics by Trenka Attila. Ah, yes, the duct-taped banana. The famous duct-taped banana piece. It's good. What's interesting about this one is, like, this line here. This line, so you can tell where the duct tape on the wall is, and then where this line is, you can tell that's where the tape would stop sticking to the wall and just jut up at an angle. It's obviously not sticking and then going up and over the banana and then sticking back to the wall on these lines, but having like such fine lines like that defined, very, very fascinating. Same with all the detail on the banana, like the black running all up the peel like that. Very Andy Warhol. Was recording my walkthrough, looking at you looking at some pieces makes me worry I missed some. Oh, maybe, I don't know. It's a big gallery. There's a lot of stuff here. What do we have here? Untitled Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York. Speaking of mundane objects, a toilet. Project where I documented turds I've left behind. Oh, boy. So we have some controversial, some, what is the word I'm thinking of? Incentive, or not incentive. I can't think at all right now. Incendiary. That's the word I'm thinking of. An incendiary piece here, if this is indeed a turd in a toilet. Very, very interesting. Provocative pieces up here in the museum, but that's what art is for, isn't it? Challenger Monument by Camilo Longo. Another piece by Camilo Longo here. Space Shuttle Challenger Monument in Los Angeles, California. Beautiful detail, especially in this building right here next to it. You can get all these fine lines and even that like edge work right there of the wings. That's where you can tell the edge detail that's built into the Game Boy camera is kicking in effect there to differentiate the wing from this bridge or overwalk or whatever this is next to it. But the building, everything is really nice. Same with this reflection. This appears to be like another building of sort, or maybe even a pole. That's a nice shot. Really nice shot of the space shuttle. Let's run back here. Check out this good dog. Parker the Mini Dachshund by Alex Akers. What can I say about this? Look at look at him. Look at the nose. Look at the little stubby legs. Love a dachshund. Love the dithering too. The dithering surrounding this dog is quite great because it's not too overpowering, but it is very vibrant. Same with like the dog's snout having all that dithering on it. Like it doesn't distract it and it doesn't blend into the rest of the background. So much of the rest of the dog is dark, so it allows you to kind of see. And the nose right here too gives you that nice snout shape. Very nice piece there. What are we looking at here? An orange? An apple? Food prep. Caught a snapshot of me cutting garlic and onions for a stew. Man, I should not be doing this on an empty stomach. By Roger DeLoof. I should also give the artist credit. So, yeah, garlic. That is definitely sliced garlic. If you've ever sliced up garlic, it's got the little rings on the inside that are coming through as single pixels. Love the shadow of the knife just resting on the onion, the shape of the knife. shape of the cutting board. And again, globes, round objects, very fun to shoot with lighting on a Game Boy camera because it gives you that really nice spherical effect. Just captures those so perfectly, I think. Jumping back earlier to Midwest themes. Hot Sauces by Hannah Twep. Shelves of hot sauces. I thought these were liquors. I was going to say it's a very Midwest photo if it's just a bunch of liquors, but no, it's hot sauces. Again, I'm so hungry. Why did I decide to do this? I can't believe how late it is. I still haven't eaten yet. Oh man, I got to correct this like as soon as we're done. Also, we've been streaming for a while. This is quite the tour, and we are not done yet. Is there any way to get to... Hang on a second. I want to make sure we're not missing anything. So this is... Okay, so both stairs lead to the same exhibit. Great. So we're going to start on this wall. Wow. Look at this one. Oh, we're going to have to look for these. You Are the Sea by Sloopy Goop. So some kind of nautilus, whether it be an illustration of a nautilus. They do have dithering on, but it almost looks like dithering is off because of these like brush stroke kind of effects. I think this is a photo of a painting of some kind, or maybe a photo from a textbook or something, but the capture on this is really, really staggering. Especially because nautiluses are such alien creatures anyway, by nature, that it makes it very abstract, very like Lovecraftian. Speaking of Lovecraftian, look at this. Old Geezer Discovers Cutting Edge Technology by Back to Ghost. So this is either like a human body from the bodies exhibit or like a model of a body, or maybe it is a body. Who knows? Maybe there's a murderer amongst us. This is all very interesting. I like when people take the camera and are able to explore like the darker sides of lives, you know, or just life in general. This is cool. I do like that with the title and all, Old Geezer Discovers Cutting Edge Technology. It almost makes it feel like this corpse took a photo with the Game Boy camera itself. Is this a mummy? The Mummy of Guanajuato. I hope I pronounced that right. Who did this one? By Henry Pixelato. There's expanded descriptions of some of these photos on the website. Oh, that's great. That's really, really good to know. Again, that website, mentioned it earlier. You can find how to join this. I believe it works on both Java and Bedrock. I think. I'm playing on Java right now. It is GameBoyCameraClub.com/2-bit-contemporary. And that should lead you to a landing page, which will give you all the information on how to join this server. This one, this mummy, very interesting. Very, very interesting. The lighting on this one lends so much detail to this mummified body. The weird kind of abstract shape of a mummified body where it's just very loose and like just kind of looks like somebody took a bunch of clay and just like pounded it onto the table, you know, where it's just sort of like tall at the top and then flattens out because everything's just kind of hanging. You get that in like the elbows here where they're all just kind of drooped into the corner of the elbow. Look at that. You can see the individual ribs, like the shadows beneath each of the ribs. Of course, like the eyes, those sunken skulls, the light shining up here, and a beautiful isolation of the top of the skull. Like, look at that line right there. You can even see like a little bit of black from the edge detection. Bedrock does not have buttons, so the Java experience is way better. Ooh, good to know. I did not know that. What do we have here? People laying down? People swimming? Love Will Tear Us Apart by Latente. Oh, is this that grave? This one's very interesting. So it's some human shapes, but they're all kind of melded into the ground. This might be like the top, like, you know how certain, like mausoleums or graves or whatever will have like human shapes, like these little statues of human shapes. I wonder if that's what this is. This is a really nice photo. Latent. Really interesting framing as well. Like just having the layers of these body parts in here is really interesting. Adds a lot of depth to it. This is a fantastic photo. I really, really like this one. Really like the vibe it's giving off. This one looks like an exploration of dithering. A skyline. Trees in an empty field. So a skyline of trees by GB Many. So you can see like where the horizon line is right here. And then these must be the trees. This is quite a deep exploration of like the abstract of the dithering that'll happen inside a Game Boy camera, as well as like a little, what is this? A cropped corner? Maybe they cropped it themselves. Very interesting. Almost like a folder where it has that little like tab or whatever. But I like this. I like this very much. I like an abstract photo, and this one is abstract. Looking at it from a distance, you can kind of tell what it is. But I thought it was a cityscape, you know, so explores you to look deeper in here. Now, this is cool. I like let's see, we sought abandoned asylum. Is that what that says? He saw it? Some say they're still here, and at this rate they will be too. So GBB Ham took this one as well. Interior of a building here. I love that they used this, like the blank kind of featureless ceiling to draw everybody's attention down. And the dithering also works very well, where it kind of lightens up here, draws your attention down into the framework of this. This almost looks like somebody standing there. I wonder what that is. Very interesting, though. But whatever slice of building this is a really intriguing area to shoot. Let's start back here. Whoa! Looks like a Ren Fair photo. Ren Fairs are great to shoot at as well. GBB Ham captured. We sought abandoned asylum. Thank you, everybody, for helping me get like full credit out when they don't show up the whole way around. Soint King by Trenka Attila. So this is either a statue or somebody at a Ren Fair or something. I've taken a few photos at a Ren Fair of like knights on horses and things like that. Really, really fun to shoot that stuff. But I love this. This one has a bunch of kind of ominous vibes resting behind it because you can't quite make out the detail of the face. It's like a backlit silhouette of, you know, some figure holding an axe. So this is all very like dark, very moody, very mysterious. And I like that the silhouette of the body is framed against all this like hard dithering. It's very cool. You can get like that faint outline of a crown there. Got some spread legs going on here in a bathtub. Stripping in the outdoor tub by Rourke Adeline. Is that what that was? Rourke Adeline. Rourke. If Rourke is the photographer I'm thinking of, Rourke has done some other pretty suggestive photos. I think he's got a model that he's been shooting or has shot. There's somebody who did some like really nice feminine form photos. This is no different. I mean, you can clearly see the hand there in between the legs. You can see these legs spread-legged, the big clawfoot bathtub, and it looks to be a hand kind of up and over, maybe gripping the back here. Lots of detail here, but then no detail at all whatsoever here in the bit that would be the most explicit, which is another reason why I love the Game Boy camera. You can get some pretty interesting shots without actually having to show, like, the detail of the thing. Crossing the Lake by Everest Cooper. 5 hikers cross a frozen mountain lake. Damn, look at this one. So this one just has epic scale to it, where you can see, like, if these are the footsteps, they came through really well, that kind of displaced snow leading to the 5 figures here that you can all see individually. Very, very cool. And then that horizon line there with the sky and the mountains and everything. This dark shadow kind of casting over here is all very, very intriguing. But this is a nice photo, especially of such small subjects, like against a mountain like this. Really staggering stuff. So this guy, Joaquin Costa by Charlie Mazing GBC Cam, however you pronounce it, Charlie MZN GBC4M. This also appears to be some kind of statue. Seems to be having a pretty good time, or he's throwing up his hands in the air like he's just not certain what's happening right now. But there's a lot of detail here on the left side that's coming through here. And I wonder what all that is. Like if that's just detail from the sculpture or what. But I love the way the face turned out, and I love the way that all this detail turned out here, especially the detail on the tree, kind of helping to maintain this like solid shape right there against the body. I think that's very, very interesting. Kind of makes a little more of a dynamic area where if this wasn't here, it would just be, you know, a guy throwing his hands up in the air or a statue. Head back upstairs. Oh, and that might be it. I think that we have just looped around. That was gallery 8, correct? No. Have we seen any of this stuff yet? No, we have not been here. All right, I was about to say that we're done, but we're not. Although I think this may be the final gallery. This looks like one of Zoe's pieces. Yep. Crow-rupted. Again, I know this artist. I know they love crows. This is no surprise that they would do like a glitchy crow piece. But this glitchy crow piece in Game Boy camera language is really, really interesting. They also sign their pieces, which I really appreciate, and they do it with the palette. But it's cool to have it in with the kind of glitch mess right here. Really great piece here. Really great piece. This looks like another one of Airgax. Nope, somebody else's. So many people taking pictures of the moon. It's so hard to keep them separated sometimes. A Full Moon by Bastian Eckler. Beautiful shot of the moon here. Custom adapter and a Canon 70-200 lens here. Really, really, really rich, detailed photo of the moon here. You can see all of these like lunar canyons and craters and things. The detail that came through is so rich. I believe this is the artist who posted the photo of the huge camera with the Game Boy just like duct taped to the end of it. Just like this little Game Boy like dangling off the edge. It was really cool. Wait, what'd you say, Splody? I kept seeing this and swore it was one of mine that I did submit. I swear I have an image just like this. I have seen a lot of these. I think Airgac has one of like this too, because I think I remember seeing one of a moon, but with his signature above and below it. Again, it's photographers, you know, it's like railroads, cities, graveyards, mountains, trees. Like there are things that we just like to shoot. Unabashedly will shoot. Pikmin at the San Diego Zoo. By that guy. Bastian did this with a 3D print when I didn't even have my own Game Boy camera. Wow. For limited time, Pikmin were found. Oh yeah, when Pikmin were all scattered all over the San Diego Zoo. If you know Pikmin, it looks like it's here, like there's its head and there's its flower. But this is like a bit of a Where's Waldo if you don't know about Pikmin or the Game Boy camera. It'd be kind of hard to tell what it is. Oh, that would have been so much fun to go on a little scavenger hunt, see all the Pikmin at the San Diego Zoo. So good. Ooh, this one's really nice. By Writer. Cathedral Metropolitana de Chihuahua. Downtown Chihuahua, September 2023. Oh. This dithering is interesting. Normally it does sky dithering as kind of like an X shaped where it'll be a grid of 2x2 blocks with a block in the middle. Like kind of like an X shape, but this one's not doing that. You can see kind of in the corner where they're almost like the T-shaped Tetris block there. And then I've never really seen like these vertical lines with the dots in between. I wonder how they managed to get that going on. But I think the textures work really well in this one, especially with like the trees being so dominant. And then the dithering and everything adds a lot of layer where you can see these buildings and you can see the details of the buildings, but they're just very vague. So you can tell these are very, very ornate buildings standing against like this wild sky and these trees. The way they captured that was really, really something. Greenhouse by Will Giove. That is a greenhouse, all right. Really nice greenhouse. Real nice capture. Again, this looks to be like one of those cameras that might have the like the first version chip or whatever, where they don't take very, very rich, dark Game Boy camera captures, but there's still a lot of detail in this one that comes through, like the curved glass on the greenhouse, the arches, the sky, the trees, the yard, the bushes. Everything comes through very, very, very clear, but just lighter. And I think that's really interesting. I do have, most of my cameras have like this kind of chip where this is like the darkest the photos will get. But I prefer to be able to shoot with a camera that has like harder, darker blacks like that. Clota's Sword by Joff or Yoff. A photo of Glasgow Science Center. Oh, I think I've been by this. Lit behind by the sunset, and you can tell. I love that kind of like burned effect right here. Splitting the sword. But this sky is very, like, it almost looks like fire. You know, it's engulfing this right here. So, and it's so, like, flame-like. This one's very powerful. It looks like a burning sword. What are we looking at here? A dream car. Oh, by 3D Putty. A toy convertible on a pink backdrop. Very cool. All right, I see it now. It's like an old, like one of those blue and white body, like kind of retro Corvettes or whatever they would call this kind of car. Looks really, really nice against the pink background. The pink captured really well. That kind of crazy gradient pink. Looks great. Toy model photography. Museum vase by 2-Bit Memories. Very nice. Very, very, very stark, dark silhouette of the vase here. I love that the like area of the and this is really nice. The area of the museum is captured very well, especially these pillars and the light shining through the pillars, kind of overlooking outside of the courtyard or whatever area of the museum that would be. It's a really nice piece, especially with the vase being silhouetted against all the rest of the background. I think that's really interesting. Makes it very visually interesting. Untitled by Adam French. It's a pyramid monument. Monolith? Monolith. Yep, sure is. So this is a... What can I say about this one? Looks to be maybe like the top of a submerged building or something like that. Or maybe it is just like a pyramid-shaped greenhouse. But the pyramid shape, this is where it gets really interesting. Like right here, here especially, because there's no pixel work. It's just the sky and the reflection of the sky on the glass. But you still have these stray pixels here that guide your eye downwards, so you can tell that this is a side of the pyramid. I do love, and like here, there's just big negative space, like right here, and you can tell that that is structure rather than just shadow or something like that. All that implied structure is very, very cool. Love that this is all focused here in the middle. Makes it very, very singular. Just asks you to really focus in right here. And, yes, and per se and by 128 by 112. Not much to say about this one. I think that is just a very, very clean capture of what appears to be an unlit neon ampersand sign. You can see like the shadow, kind of these shadow tracks from where like the neon would feed through the whole sign. And that is awesome. That is a great capture. So the light must have been shining just right against all of that to get that stark shadow there. But I love that it's nestled against all this tree right here. It definitely makes the piece way more exciting. Gives it far more texture. Kind of creates more eye movement. A really, really nice piece here. Also just very interesting, you know, to have such a single and unique symbol like that commanding your photo. More sculpture photography here. Amsterdam statue by Jacob Holmes. Yeah, so statues are fun, especially like quartz statues, these like very, very bright kind of stone statues. You can push the Game Boy camera into absorbing the light in a way where it'll focus entirely on that light and then just make the background like washed out. This is close. It's very, very close. You can still see some of the pixels here. I think if you had pushed your brightness down 1 or 2 more steps, that background would have been pure black, and you would have had just a pure black silhouette against these. Not saying that the pixels are bad. That's not at all what I'm saying. Like having pixels like this makes it way more genuine and way more authentic. Gives you far more of an idea that it was captured with a Game Boy camera and not edited in any way, because these are all so random and so hard to predict, especially if you're shooting in low light. But Jacob Holmes, great photo here. Really great composition. Love the white banner as well, the white background. Got hot pink pixels photo up there. The Chinese Guardian Lion by Jake Pink. Beautiful photo. Wish we have to run back up there to get a little closer, or use our spyglass. Let's back up a little bit. Very clean detail on this Chinese dragon. Statues are fun to shoot, especially statues with very, very unique details, and this is no exception. So we have some very nice palette swapping here to make it pink and magenta and like a dark kind of reddish brown versus the usual grayscale. Very, very cool stuff. Forest Interest by Hello Cat Food. Hold on, we got another Hello artist here. We've got a couple. Latitude. I mean, it's not like I can monopolize that name, but come on. Forest Interest by Hello Cat Food. Looks like a door. Looks like a lone door standing in a forest. Very interesting. Very interesting structure. I wonder what the purpose behind it is, other than to be visually interesting. But it makes this photo visually interesting. Knowing that it's a forest, you can kind of get a lot of that from the background. This almost looks like a person standing in the forest, the way that the pixels are all lined up here. See what I mean? Oh, not that close. It almost looks like somebody's standing there. But I like this, with the door kind of partially open. You can see the door frame, but having it be so stark against the white. Just all that negative space. Playing with negative space is a lot of fun. Symbol of Warning by Sloopy Goop. So this one has dithering off. You can tell because it has these like big, solid chunks of color. Dark gray, light gray, big chunk of white with like no dithering in there. This is a mode that you can get if you're in the photo capture mode and then you press select. I believe it brings up a menu, and then in that menu, you can choose from a variety of different things. Like you can flip your image, you can flip it vertically or horizontally, or you can turn dithering off. And turning dithering off turns the Game Boy camera into like an entirely different beast. Makes these like, I don't know how to describe it, just like way chunkier looking images. Not too many of us funtographers are using dithering off, but I feel like more should. I'm almost worried that we're worried to do it. Building, of course, this is by B23, and look at it. So it's got that that HDR composite work there. You can tell because there's quite a lot of, there's more than just 2 bits going on in this photo, which gives it like a far more detailed image where you can actually see like these cracks and depth and shade and everything in the sides of the buildings. This is beautiful. Man, I'm envious of anybody who lives in the New York area. Just having access to so many interesting vertical structures to shoot must be great. Matt and Zeki artwork by Derokin. Shot of an artwork by the French artist duo Matt and Zeki. This is a really awesome capture of their artwork. I can get like the vibe of the piece entirely through here. It's almost like stencil work from the looks of it. I wonder how much detail there actually is in it, because these like shadows are so stark and heavy, like just big areas of shadow to draw out big chunks like the folds in the clothing or the shapes in the face or the mouth and nose. What does that say? Should take a closer look at the door photo. It does look like that there's somebody in there. I love it. I love that there are so many others running around here in the museum too. It's really making this opening feel like really special. Uh-oh, some pieces we haven't seen yet. A car. Reminders of the Past by Hoovy Board. What did that say? Pennies. Porsche from Top Gun Maverick, located at the Peterson Auto Museum. What can I say about this piece other than it took my breath away? Really nice picture here. Cars are very fun to shoot. 1 month, or for a while, more than a month, for a while at the DIA, the Detroit Institute of Arts, they had a concept car, like a concept car exhibit where you could come in and you could see those cars that never were put into like mass production, like the really weird, really unique ones. And I wish I'd spent more time there, because they had them in these very plain neutral spaces, and you could take like very nice photos of them. Really weird looking cars. Cars are just very fun to shoot. Again, my list of things that I like to shoot with Game Boy cameras, cars is on them. I'm not a car guy, but I love shooting with a Game Boy camera. There's so many details, there's reflection, there's the glass, there's everything. There's just a lot of different elements going on all at the same time that make capturing very fun. Same with like this in the background. You got like what appears to be another Porsche chilling in the background. I love that. Know this banner? Why do I know this banner? By Hard Mint. Oh, maybe I don't know this banner. At the Organ by Hard Mint. Over-the-shoulder shot of a person playing the electric organ. Beautiful shot. Oh, also really, really nice shot here, considering the striped hoodie that this person is wearing. We got all the beautiful black and white like lines and kind of stripes from the piano against the stripes of the hoodie there. Love that you can see the detail of his hand and that you can tell it's kind of curled up on the keys, like it's focusing on a small number of keys all at once. A lot of that detail coming through very, very well there. It's a really good piece. We skipped one over here. Let's see what this one's all about. Nope, not that side. We'll get to Latence there in a moment. Trolley Bus by Valkris, however you would pronounce that, STH. Clean. This one is clean. So clean. Look at that shadow. Look at that, just the blacks, the solid blacks right there. You get all the details of the bus. You can even see a reflection of buildings who are behind the photographer in the bus window. Beautiful capture right here. You can almost see the bus logo on the front. Wow. And then even some of the letters from the signage right there. Everything came through very, very well on this one. This is a clean photo. Very nice. Wow, speaking of clean photos, look at this boot by Crypt Witchell. This boot was made for walking. That's just what it'll do. Look at this. So this is what I'm talking about. The Game Boy camera's edge work right there, like the fact that it can detect this edge and then add such a solid line all the way around, even here. Like, I can tell that the artist didn't do that manually. I can tell they didn't do it manually because there's all these pixels here, and they captured it with a Japanese camera, as you know, the banner would say here, the pocket camera versus Game Boy camera. But the detail on the boot came through really well too. Look at these laces. Very, very nice stuff. Latte by Crypt Witchell. Another photo where you can push the background into a solid black silhouette by just kind of nudging the contrast down, just step by step. That's my tip. If you're in low light environments or if you're close to something that is bright, that can reflect light, if you bump down the Game Boy camera just step by step contrast wise, just a little bit and let it focus, after a while it will snap into a like darker focus, and it can allow you to get like these rich details like the latte artwork here, that kind of fanning of the leaf that you can tell, the weird little like ripples that you get in latte art that don't move. Wouldn't be able to capture that very well without that low light thing. Focus mode, I don't know what you would want to call it. Milano 2024 by Latent. This looks to be shot with some kind of fisheye lens. It's got that kind of curved thing at the bottom. No other information about it. This looks to be shot with a fisheye lens. If I had to put dollars to donuts, looks like a fisheye. It's kind of got that curve along the bottom there. So they must have been either holding it up or using a 3D print that would allow them to use other lenses. I love a fisheye. I'm an ex-skater. I was a skater boy, but eventually said see you later boy to the skate scene. But I never grew out of the fish boy camera, which I think was another project. Hold on a second. Who was that lunatic who was working on the fish boy camera? I was just looking at this thing earlier today. If you're the one that came up with the fish boy camera, make yourself known. It was a Game Boy camera, but the eye of it was a fish. There it is. Found it. Who did this one? Game Boy camera obscura. I'll try my best to show this photo off here, but this is what we're talking about. It's a fish head with a Game Boy camera lens in it. But either way, fisheye lenses are fun. All that to say, fisheye lenses are fun. Casa Chihuahua by Ryder. Another Chihuahua photo by Ryder. Wow, look at this. So this area, earlier I described like a plaza or like kind of like a meeting area in the DIA that had like this kind of open air in the middle with like a 3x3 kind of grid of open windows. It doesn't really have, or does it? It does have a roof, but not a curved roof like this one. I love all the curved details that we get here. Even all the implied detail with like the panels of glass, like right here, You can't quite connect those to get that curve going, but the way that the pixels line up, it gives you this idea that, you know, there's light shining through and that the ceiling is curved a bit. This is a very cool bit of architecture here. And it does divide your focus, but in a good way, because up here is very visually interesting, and down here is also very visually interesting. Utility poles. Nope. I was wondering when we would see some utility poles. Another thing that photographers like to shoot. Wires by Atticus Ludwig. Transmission wires by My Work in Fog. Ooh, fog. So that's interesting that this photographer tried to get some fog going on. Fog is really difficult. It's one of the harder things to kind of get across. One, because it chokes out so much light. So if you're outside shooting in the fog, you're not working with a lot of light to begin with, depending on how heavy the fog is and what time of day it is. But then also, it's hard to kind of get that effect that fog gives you, that like kind of rolling gradient effect, or if you're looking at something in the fog, it's still silhouetted a little bit, but with some detail. And the further back it goes, the more it's difficult to see. So trying to shoot this in fog and recreate that fog effect, I do feel it. Like, it feels gray, it feels hazy. So it did come across very well. Whoa, look at this capture. The bridge is up, boys, by 128 by 112. So a drawbridge. You see all the detail of the drawbridge there. Very interesting. Don't know what kind of support you would call that, but that area of the drawbridge, I love it against the water as well. Like, if you're going to shoot a drawbridge up like that, kind of make it more abstract, I'm happy that they actually took the time to, like, frame it up with some water as well to kind of get that reflection and everything. Really, really hammer in that it's a drawbridge if you're not familiar with the general structure of a drawbridge. But the dark silhouettes of the trees and everything, and the shadow, like kind of being framed up by a little bit of the shadow here, kind of the top of the camera and the clouds. That's a nice shot. Real nice shot. Now we got the backs. Ooh, Fuji. Looks to be Fuji again. Mount Fuji from Panoramic Ropeway by Xavier Domingo. Beautiful image. Fuji is just a photogenic mountain that I believe they are taking big steps towards making sure that tourists can't ruin anymore. So, or maybe it's just like the one spot. There's like a convenience store, I think, that's widely popular. I wonder if this is anywhere near it. But man, Fuji, it's just such a singular, like, perfect little mound, isn't it? And I love that it's got this tree here to kind of break up the shade. So as your eyes kind of drift over to this way, you do have something to look at. But this is a really beautiful image of Fuji. I just love that curve. Look at that curve of the mountain. Captured so beautifully in pixels. Oh man, When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth. Immemorial by San Miyasha. T-Rex fossil towering overhead, exhibited at the Royal Ontario Museum. Shadow's working overtime here to give us all this detail. Look at how beautiful. Like the teeth, the row of teeth there, seeing every shadow of tooth, seeing all these bone cavities, like where the eyes and like the sides of the snout and the ribs and everything. This is a really wonderful capture. Lots and lots of detail here. What is up with the red pixels? There are two little red pixels in this one. I wonder what's going on with that. Kölner Dom and Pixels. Cologne Cathedral. One of the first outdoor shots I did. These cathedrals. Detroit has a lot of churches, but we don't have a lot of, like... I guess we do. We do have a lot of spires, don't we? Maybe I'll get out there and I'll shoot some more. I'll shoot some more churches. I don't know. I'm not a very religious person myself, but they are fun to shoot. I do love religious iconography, even though I don't personally follow any of it. It's really fun to look at religious pieces. And some of the work that goes into these cathedrals and spires is just mind-numbing to me. But I love the detail that comes through on this. Lots of detail here, especially like in this area of the roof where I'm sure there's like windows or sculptures, but then the spires themselves, and then this third spire here kind of in the front. Sparkle by Pixelated Eye. All the glitter isn't gold, or is it? Looks like an ornament. Yeah, this appears to be a close-up shot of an ornament. Did they say HDR? They said HDR, right? I don't know. Looks to be HDR, or at least some kind of trichromatic photo here. I would assume this is HDR because the color is too good. It's really nice. All this isolated, like, shine coming off as well. Or these could be the other ornaments, especially this one down here. But the color really lends to, like, the detail of these pine needles. It's really, really difficult to capture such fine little details like that, but this shading and the coloring goes a long way to really, really hammer in that, like, these are pine needles. Speaking of trees, Lone Tree by Win Hut Lang. Probably pronounced that very Toon Lang. A lone tree found on the edge of a farm while driving down the motorway. Very lonely picture. Very isolated here. Can tell that you were driving because you got a little bit of an angle here. So I'm sure you were looking back or looking forward at something there. Must have been looking back a little bit. I love it. The sky detail is very nice. The tree detail, of course, is very, very nice. But the sky detail really, really helps bring everything here together. Kind of pushes your eye from this area down a little bit into the tree, which I think is very cool. Whoa. Sensoji Temple by N-Mode 8-Bit. Picture of the roof of the Buddhist temple Sensoji in Asakusa, Tokyo. Again, I'm probably butchering all of this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I am just so painfully white. Beautiful detail. Beautiful detail on this. Stands out immediately. These clean lines here, like the top, the middle, and the bottom of these shingles here. And the fact that there is such a, like, these buildings have curves. They have such fine curves here, and all of that comes through very well on the Game Boy camera. And you can even see, like, you know, the inside of the structure here, maybe even some dangling, like, banners or whatever. But this is a great photo. This is framed really well, too. Stark white background. Very nice. Look at this. 30 Rock. Rainbow Room Observation Deck in NYC. NBC Studios. Looks like the entrance to 30 Rock, I think? Or no? Just the observation deck? Maybe that's a different area of NBC Studios. Again, neon lights. I love that you can read perfectly. Observation deck. Even Rainbow Room comes through pretty well. But the NBC Studios, it's like an iconic overhang for the New York City area. NBC Studios coming through so well here. It is very, very fun to capture, like, letters that clearly. When they come through clearly on a Game Boy camera, it feels so good. It's one of the more satisfying things to capture. Untitled. Terra by Atticus Ludwig. So it does have a title. Simple image of my partner lit by the window. This is a simple image, and this is a beautiful image. I love that they are working on something. You can't really quite tell what it is they're working on, but I love this candid snapshot of your partner. I think it is really nice. There is, like, a dreamlike quality to it where there really isn't a lot of detail. You know who it is, and we know who it is because you told us who it is, but just the fine details on the fingers and everything, like, it's just barely an image of them, and I love that so much. It really does kind of lend itself to that idea of, like, a memory. I think you did a really wonderful job capturing this one. Ooh, who's this? Old Stone House by Roger DeLoof. So this house has been in this community for 110 years. This kind of reminds me of some of the houses I used to live near when I lived in Detroit. We lived nearish West Village, which has, like, a bunch of wealthier homes in it, and lived around the corner from Meg White of the White Stripes. But they were these, like, occasionally there'd just be these big kind of blocky, like, stone mansions that were all well over 100 years old. And all of them kind of look like this. This looks like a view from the sidewalk. Most of those homes in West Village have, like, big old gates that you'd have to shoot through. So either this is a gate or another tree. But I love the lead up to the house and then the detail of the house surrounded by trees. You can even tell that this is, like, a bit of a fence, maybe a stone fence surrounding the structure. Very cool. Very, very cool. This one is interesting. Skyline by David Grzynowski. Seen through a prism. I was wondering. Yes, of course. So, bunch of repeated patterns here, and I was wondering how they were able to do that. So, another prism shot. Earlier, we saw a prism shot, or what I believe to be a prism shot of that dog. It was like a cluster of 3 of the same dog. I think that was done through a prism as well. I used to have some prisms. I wonder where those are. I should dig them out. Start messing around with them. I'm like inspired to do so because of these submissions here. But this is cool. This one screams abstract, even though it is a skyline. The multiple skylines make it look like you're looking like from a mountaintop down into a valley of city or something. It's very cool. Who dis? Eleonora by Echoes from the Shield. My wife, Eleonora. Another beautiful picture of a partner. They look to be sat, basking in the sun. Looks like they're looking away, maybe. And they have either one arm up or something in their ear. Like either that's their hair or a headphone or something. But I love that you can tell that this is a human shape and that they're looking away to something. You can't quite tell what is in the background, whether it be trees or clouds or what. But this is a really great capture of your significant other. What is this here? Some artwork? Soul View by GBC Rudy. Remember to absorb. Is this like a take on the Game Boy Camera Eye? I think it might be. More photos of artwork, which I think translate very well. And I like the palette too. Oh, this appears to be, if this is maybe shot on paper? Maybe lined paper? Toilet Transport by Simba. Truck picking up porta potties after a festival. Hey, it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. The palette swap is nice. I like this vibrant blue. It's kind of like aqua blue, neon blue. It's very, very nice. Yeah, it's a truck lugging porta potties. Trucks are fun to shoot. The detail is very interesting in this one. Surrounded by trees. It's an easy thing to do with Game Boy cameras to add a whole bunch of excitement into your photo. If you can get a couple trees in there, especially trees with leaves, make everything a little more vibrant. Kind of Kurosawa-ish in a way, where it's like, try to get some movement in your photo. Even though these are still photos, I think seeing a tree kind of fills you with that idea of like, I know trees sway in the wind, so I can imagine these swaying very easily. But very interesting piece there. Oh, hey, this is a very interesting piece too by a little somebody named hellodanlane. These are self-portraits that I took in a mirror, my bathroom mirror and a medicine cabinet, which is on the perpendicular wall, the wall that it's attached to. So what I did was open the mirror because it opens up towards the other mirror and then stick my camera in between the two and took a photo of myself with the repeated reflections, which is why it's like pretty clear here, and then my face gets anamorph style blurrier and blurrier. That is looking deeper and deeper into the reflected reflections. Oh, I'm so happy that more than one of my pieces made it to the gallery, especially this one too, because I really like it. If I can toot my own horn, I think this one is very visually interesting. I was really pleased with it, and I do love how it kind of sliced up and framed my face in a really interesting way. Cabbage by Nooch. Photo from the garden. That is cabbage. Cabbage, like all plants, is no different than shooting a flower, where it's a plant. It gives off a little bit of ultraviolet light. So getting rich detail out of a Game Boy camera is difficult. But you can very clearly see, like, here's the middle of the cabbage and the leaves that are all kind of like peeling away from the middle of the bulb. Gives you that definite cabbage shape. What can I say? It's a piece of cabbage. The color, the palette is very interesting too. You'd think that you'd do a more cabbagey color, but it's purple. Unless it's a purple cabbage, of course. Could always be a purple cabbage. Kennecott Coppermine recolored by J. Jason Lazarus. I love this style of recoloring. A lot of people do this, and it works on me every time. I love it. I love the Stark recolor. Now I'm realizing I'm saying Stark too much too. Tony Stark, Mr. Stark. Just like how bold this building is compared to the dull background, like the dull blue background, obviously makes it pop. But just giving it that color palette swap, like really, really, really makes it pop. Really nice image here. Some of these, like, I think... No, I like them. I was going to say, I would go in and I would color these to be the same as the rest of it, but I actually like that it's broken up. It makes it more interesting to look through the building. You're not just seeing a big block of color that is the building, and then a big block of color that is the sky. These could be reflections. So, you know what? I'm going to walk back my, I would color these in, and I say, I like it. I like it. I have yet to see a piece in here that I disliked. Let's just say that much. Everything here is great. I'm glad that everybody really brought out some A game here. Garbage Beach, #1 by 3D Putty. A silhouette of a man skipping a stone on a beach. Yep. Somebody who used to spend a lot of time skipping stones with my grandfather in my youth. That is a stone skipping. That is like very much the motion you make. Really beautiful to silhouette that against all the reflection of the water. Framing that up is very, very nice. And then seeing like the ripples in the water here, that is a great, great effect. And the fact that you can see the edge of the lake is very cool. This is a good, good photo. Great, great, like, subject isolation right there. Really, really good. Wow. Look at this. Diagonal Daisies by Michael Volek. Daisies naturally arranged in a diagonal pattern. There they are. Beautiful. And then the leaves behind it, too, are also very well captured. They're nice and there's a lot of depth to it. Like, there's just enough detail in these flowers that you can tell that they're daisies. But then all the leaves don't detract from, like, the minor detail here. And I think that's a really interesting tightrope balance to pull off here. The color palette is very beautiful as well. That kind of daisy yellow, that, like, weird sickly daisy yellow. Great, great palette swap. This border is very interesting. Is this another one of Hatch's? Alex Hatch. Aerochrome. Summer trees. Final photos is at father's home with infrared and color filters. So a lot of work went behind getting these vibrant, vibrant colors. But look at how red these reds are. So definitely used some color... What do you say? Color filters and... Infrared. Infrared being the key. I think infrared might have given that edge there. Or maybe that's the coloration process. But, like, these are just one-to-one colors, really. If I were playing, like, a Game Boy Color game and they wanted to show me a red-leafed tree that was changing colors for the fall, this is, like, the kind of artwork that I would expect to see in the Game Boy camera. Game Boy Color, rather. It's an ass by David Grenzowski. It sure is. That's a butt. It's a statue's booty. Again, we're using light. Look at this light. Just a little bit of light. And a little bit of contrast and that edge effect there right on the side of the leg. Like really giving you that booty definition. And then even the top back there. Very, very cool. Although I guess this could just be somebody's actual ass. Maybe it's a model's. Or maybe it's a statue. But really great piece there. Warm Coffee by Macro Megan. Macro Megan also really, really good. Morning Sun warming a local coffee shop owner. Look at the shading on this one. Damn. Was that David's? Is that what the positioning is there? That 143 point yada 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 yada? Oh, that's fun. Well, I mean, you know what? David does have a good butt. Something to aspire to. Macro Megan's piece here has some really gorgeous shadow work going on these bricks. Look at that. And the silhouette of the face against the brick, like it being completely engulfed there. You get the back of the head being lit, but the front of the head kind of makes it way more moody. Gives it a big kind of, like almost sinister or mysterious kind of contemplative feel. But I love the shadow on the brick. Like such vibrant shadows on the bricks here. Who did this one? Mario Meets Mario. This one has some very, very interesting pixel art. Was this one printed and then rescanned? I wonder if it was. Of course, we got Pixel Mario. Mario. No Luigi Mario, though. Just Mario meeting Mario. This is cool. Looks like it was shot in some kind of light box, too. Get that effect where there's just, like, no background. That's a picture taken directly from a Game Boy. Ooh, nice. I wonder what's going on with the pattern here. Like, you see what I mean? It's not the normal, like, pixel palette here. There seems to be some kind of HDR going on with this one. And we got some more Mario going on here. Nintendo Headquarters Video Game Co. logo by Henry Pixelato. Logo of a video game company headquarters in Kyoto. What do y'all think? Should I try these video games sometime? I've heard so much about video games. Maybe I should give them a shot. No, this Nintendo logo is great. Look at how like isolated it is, how clean it all came through. Oh, it's a photo of the display. I understand. Another one of those classic gives you a cool optical effect as you go in and out. Almost looks like you're looking at a recording of an IPS screen. Very, very interesting. But of course, we all know Nintendo. All hail Nintendo. Thank you so much, Nintendo. Thank you for everybody at Nintendo who made the Game Boy camera. Everybody involved with making the Game Boy camera a thing. Like, oh, Nintendo. I bow to you. Thank you so much. And here's this guy, Mario by John Doe. It's a him. That is a him. And look at him winking. Got him right with the crosshair, and he's winking. That's our boy. It's Mario. Mario would be a good subject for the Game Boy camera. He has such fine features, like such big, broad features, like his big mustache, big nose, big ears, big hat, big striking hat with a big M on it. He is maybe one of the perfect subjects for the Game Boy camera. He's got that big globular nose. We were talking about globes and how much fun it is to shoot globes. Yawn 3 by Matt Danish. My daughter yawning. This is a really cute photo. Taken with the Game Boy camera and a cheap fisheye lens. All right, so we got some more fisheye representation in here. So this one's by Matt Danish. I think I said that. Look at this. Look at the detail in the bonnet. Just that classic, like, curvy baby bonnet going on there. Oh, wow. Man. Look at pictures of babies, and it always makes me think, like, was my daughter ever that small? I have a couple photos of her when she was, like, really young, but those are really personal. I don't feel like sharing them. Mad respect here for you sharing them. I do not feel that way. But I love pictures of babies. And this background is really interesting, too. I wonder if this is custom made. I think it is. Because isn't that Hatch's thing? Yeah, so this border looks like it was made by Hatch. Clever. Very clever. And was that, I think, the final gallery? Oh, nope. A couple pieces we missed on this wall. We gotta make sure we get everybody. Tokyo's Statue of Liberty by N-Mode 8-Bit. Picture of the Statue of Liberty in Minato City, Tokyo. I didn't know that they had a Statue of Liberty in Japan. That's very interesting. But yeah, that's the Statue of Liberty, all right. Very striking. Very unique silhouette here, holding the slab and also like the point of the crown, the torch and everything. You can tell exactly what it is. But yeah, seeing it with all this stuff, all these structures in the background don't ring true to the New York Statue of Liberty. So it does make you think, huh? Very interesting, though. I did not know. Where is it again? Minato City, Tokyo. We got some dice here, huh? Millennium Dice Tower by Slurpee Machine. A stack of dice standing on a corner, actually taken in the year 2000. Oh, so another, like, of the era piece that was resurrected and brought into the year of our Lord, 2025. Look at this. Love the countertop. Breaking up the photo there. We got some rich detail here, but then the rest of the photo is all just shades of dither. Is this dice on its side? Like, is it one flat, one sideways, and then one flat? That's crazy. I think it is. How'd they do that? How'd they do that? But very cool. I mean, all the detail of the dice comes through. Obviously, with the faces of the dice, it helps your brain smooth over the details that aren't there, which I think is great. It's one of the biggest things that I love about the Game Boy camera. But I think that may be everything here. Hold on a second. That's not true. I keep saying that we're almost done, and then we are not almost done. Have we seen any of the pieces in this area? No, I don't believe that we have. And it looks like there's a door that leads outside. So let's check out this spot. Keep on keeping on. Keep this party going. Pixel Pattern by Eduardo de los Rios. 3/4 turn portrait of my friend Jerome Barbero. Wearing a round ref? Oh, reflective sunglasses, I'm sure it's saying. Wow. The reflection in those sunglasses, all the detail in the glasses are really staggering here. This one's really cool. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And getting that capture must have been pretty difficult. I wonder if this is stock. Wow. That's a really good photo there. Like the fact that we have his friend's face dominating the photo here, but then all the attention is drawn into the eyes and the reflection of the glasses. That's really something. Who is this? Easy Ed by Aaron Grissom. Look at this photo. I love this. The way this turned out on the Game Boy camera is so clean. Like, this just looks like an asset from a game. Wow. Jeez, that one turned out very, very well. Sutter Hall Sky Curve by Oratal. Another piece by Oratal. The entrance of the Sutter Hall Student Housing Building at CSU. Chico. Love it. Love the framing of the round building here. Like, kind of giving you this opening to the sky, but then all these repeated shapes. It's one thing I like about the Game Boy camera, too, is like whenever there are repetitive shapes here, the way that it chooses to capture it is very, very cool. This is a cool spot. I like this, like the center of a circle of windows. Suki by Anne DeWall. Photograph of a cat chilling at home. Sure is a cat. So this one, you get all the cat detail in the face, and then a little bit of this paw here. It looks like a cat kind of chewing on its paw pads. Get some of the ear and everything, but there's just so much like light detail, so much light, and then so much dithering that unless you're backed up a little bit, if you're looking at it closely, it may be a little hard to tell. But that cat face is very, very obviously a cat's face. Good piece there. And the palette's really nice. All these are nice. This whole area is like all palette swap pieces, huh? Reaching Flower by Win Tun Hilang. Reaching for the light in a greenhouse at Oxford Botanical Garden. Beautiful, beautiful image here. This appears to be... not sure what kind of flower that is, or what kind of leaf that is. I do like these shapes of the silhouettes of the leaves there. Very big, chunky leaves with like a big flower here and some palm leaves kind of. Looks like palm leaves sticking up here. There's a lot of different textures at work here. And all lead for a very interesting photograph. I know this thing. Game Boy Camera is Watching You by Mario. Smile, you're on Game Boy Camera. You sure are. So, I mean, where would we all be without our Game Boy cameras? Who knows? Who knows? Probably taking pictures with real cameras. We wouldn't want that. But, I mean, what can I say about this one? Shot with a pocket camera. You got the pocket camera, the Japanese pocket camera border there. I'm assuming that they shot this in a mirror. Very interesting image of just like, you know, the shapeage of the Game Boy camera shell. Building by Pixel Dud. A picture of a building I liked. It's a nice picture of a building. I like it. I like the shadow. I like the contrast between like the well-lit sides of the building and these shadowed sides of the buildings with like some little plant or something, some lights, like a little chimney stack here. We have another plant down here. There's a lot of interesting detail in this one as well. Makes it a little more exciting than just a photo of a building. Kirby! Kirby Artist by Eduardo de los Rios. Kirby Artist minifigure. That sure is a Kirby Artist minifigure. A Kirbist would be an artist who only draws Kirby, I think. I've got a little Kirby right here on my desk. A little cowboy Kirby that helps guard some of my my precious valuables, like the Game Boy camera. He's usually right there in front of it, helping keep it safe from who knows. But it's Kirby. This is a really, really well shot of Kirby. It is showcasing a lot of really great edge detection here. Like you can tell the edge of his shoe, the edge where like his body meets his feet, the edges of these folds in the cone, even like the sauce on top of the ice cream cone there. even on his, or not ice cream cone. It's a paintbrush. He's a painter. And then the paint on his hat and everything. There's just so much going on there, so much detail. Wow, speaking of edge work, hold on a second. Look at this. Hanging by Ruben Losud. Hope I'm saying that right, by the way. Modernist style lamp found in Pasig de Gracia in Barcelona. The edge detection at work on this photo is crazy. This looks like a drawing of a lamp versus a photo of a lamp. I can't believe like how much edge detection is at work here. That's awesome. Especially because of how ornate this ironwork is. Like having it really weave in and out of all the different shapes here is really, really something. And I love how dark the shadow is here on this kind of like UFO shaped area of the lamp. This is a great photo with the clouds kind of puffing up in the background too. Interesting. Reversed piece by D Lightyears. The glowing silhouettes of two dancers in the dark. Cool. Yeah, it's cool to do a reversed silhouette like that, where it's lit silhouettes on a dark background. We see so many light backgrounds with dark silhouettes in Game Boy camera photography, but not so much the other way around. But this is all very interesting, very actiony. A lot of action captured here. That kind of like alligator movement that they're doing there is very interesting. It's a good shot. Are we missing anything else? We went down that way. We haven't been down this way. What I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to work our way around, and then we'll go outside. This is stuff we haven't missed yet, right? No, we've been down there. Flowers by Ian Marsh. So some bright daisies here. Great detail on the daisies here. The petals, especially. Again, this is a great candidate for, I bet that they pushed the contrast down just a little bit until it did this kind of isolated black background. You can still see some of the pixels at work here, but these really dark, solid black backgrounds are usually done by nudging the contrast down a little bit. Holy. Brilliant Buzzer by Mechamoth. With only one shot to go before a full reel, I caught this lovely little bee. And this is a lovely shot. I wonder if this must be some sort of zoom lens. Otherwise, how could you get such a detailed photo of a bee in mid-flight? But, like, I would be so thrilled if it's like, especially with my last capture, if you got a photo this rich of a bee with all the detail, I would feel so proud. Mechamoth. Love the palette, too. Love the, like, purple border with this kind of nice, like, pinkish red. Very nice hue. Wilson's Orchard Flower by Splody Baloney. Another one by Splody. Really great detail, especially with these petals here, because they are kind of like spoon-shaped petals. I can tell they kind of have that like like ditch in it, where they kind of what am I trying to describe here? They're curved, and you can get that kind of curb cuppage. Like you can see it in the shadow up here, but then you can also tell that they're curved because of that kind of spoon-like shading up here. Looks like a bloomin' onion, or maybe I am just that hungry. Another great shot by Splody. Another great portrait here, Donnell by Clemnium Summer. Just a good photo of somebody standing in the water. Again, you can see that line there, that there's kind of like a rolling shutter that the Game Boy camera does in order to focus, and that line is from the rolling shutter. You can kind of get rid of that by increasing your contrast a little bit to add more dithering. It sort of like fades that out, or you bump your brightness either up or down. Most problems are solved by messing with the brightness or the contrast, but that one especially, this can be killer. I think it comes from if you're shooting at a slight angle away from the sun, because the sun will hit like the walls of the Game Boy camera here and kind of reflect off of it, where all the light sort of collects into it. So sometimes you can get these weird kind of splits, but you can work your way out of them. But this is a nice photo. Split and all, like really great photo. There's a lot of detail on the body, especially like around the belly button. And in the face too, you can tell that they're standing there and they've got a little smile on their face. A lot of detail, especially with the water and the sky and the trees. Love a repeating shape. So Caillou sur Mer by John Doe. So this is from France here. Love it. I love the repeating shapes of those doors, cabins. Like, what are these? Little huts? Got to be by the water, right? Sur Mer? Mer is water. So I'm assuming either that or these are like changing booths near the water. But I love it. Love the following like the horizon line, you know, down here all the way to the corner. And then having that perspective line back up the other way. Really beautiful stuff. I wonder what that is. Whether that be like a flag or something floating there. Self-Portrait on Sand by Raphael Zeratai. Of course. I think all of us have taken this photo at least once. This is such a like token photographer photo where it's like, oh, my shadow. But again, the shadow capture, very, very good here. Love the dithering, kind of adding texture to this white background to make you know that it's not just like a light, that it is something and that this is a shadow reflected onto it. Love that you can see the shadow kind of fading away the further it goes up here. Like it's darker the closer it is to the body. I can also absolutely see that he is holding a camera about here by his elbows. "24 in Bits," Float by Stephen Edward Kren. Another one by this artist here. This is a great one. I love this. This one's really great. With the tile of the pool here, especially like fading into the water. All that effect. Wow, hold on a second. Look at that. I love it. Like these little squiggles evaporating into nothing. That's the reflection of each of those tiles. But that's cool. Just somebody sunbathing, just head back in the water, resting in the water. All the details coming through very, very fine, especially that detail there. This is a really awesome capture. Got some sunglasses. Day in the Sun by Sparks from the side of the pool. Beer in hand. We have a little bit of theme going on here. But yeah, reflection in glasses. Kind of hard to get good reflections. These turned out very well. Let's see if I can back up a little bit here. Trying to even tell what the reflection is. I can tell that there is a reflection, but I can't quite make out what it is. That makes it very mysterious. That's not a Game Boy camera. That's just a camera. Can't read Russian. I'm so sorry. From Florence by Pocket Printer Snaps. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that detail on that camera. You can tell that's like one of those old brownie style cameras or whatever. Oh, look at that. You got the flash bulb and everything. I love this. This also just being set here with the background, like the rich detail of the background and the simplicity of the camera quite well together. They work very, very well together. We got another one of these stitched together ones. Caramelos y Contrabando en un Domingo. So it sounds like there's a backstory to this photo here. Looks like somebody's grandmother, maybe? Aunt, grandmother? Nice smile, though. The face and the smile. There's so much detail captured all within this portrait here. Like the folds of the clothes are all very simple and very, very bright. This came together really, really well. I want to do more portrait stuff. I don't really get a chance to do more portrait stuff. The Message by Ledbetter. Love is the message. Shot. Those are very clearly balloon letters, like blow up metallic balloon letters. All that detail is coming through with the Game Boy camera, giving it that kind of chrome reflected look that I can tell that those balloons have. These appear to be resting on the ground, maybe? Sounds like they're resting on the ground. Yo! That's really all there is to it. Good photo, though. The shading and everything is very, like, minimal. I don't know. It all kind of blends together very well. Everything is so dithered, but the shade is, like, quite controlled here, and that's nice. Aw, this is a nice one. Cartridge Recollection by Quentin Lanes. Decided to experiment with this tool, documenting my daily life. I'm assuming those are parents. Looks like somebody's parents. They both look robed. Very nice. This is a really nice candid shot. Looks like they're looking at something either in a book or on a phone, too. You can kind of get, like, exactly what they're up to, just chilling there. But I love the two of them, like, bathed in light like that. I like the 2 feet meeting here, like cross-legged, but on either side. Or no, he's cross-legged the same way she is. But it looks like the toes are touching. This is a nice photo. Really good composition there. I like it. Who dis? Futures Past by Rourke Adeline. Told her to turn slowly and I would capture her casual curiosity. I'm wondering what's up with this little line down here on the bottom. The photo itself is very striking. At first I thought this was a hoop earring, or maybe it is a hoop earring. So I think it is. A lot of detail, like way more detail on the face than I would expect to come through. I'm gonna back up a little bit. The face is quite detailed there. Like you can see the top lip, the bottom lip, and then this line that leads into her cheek. Same with the eyes. Like you can really make out quite a lot of detail of the eyes. The corner of the eye here, the irises, just like general shadow. There's a lot of really, really rich detail in this one for just like a photo of somebody turning around. Really rich stuff. Glass Half Full by Sophie Rose Taylor. This is an extreme close-up of a lava lamp. Oh, okay. So we're playing with light and shadow. We got that stark, dark background because they're shooting against light, and that light is reflecting into the camera, and the camera is thinking, I can't see anything except this right now. So it fills all that detail in black. You can kind of make out the vague curves of like the melted wax of the lava lamp and some bubbles and everything. But the palette helps serve the photograph here, especially like that it's a lava lamp. That's a very interesting, very visually interesting capture there. FCKAFD by Simba. No trespassing. So a no trespassing sign. Letters came through very well. Signage came through very well. Even the caution tape here came through really, really well. AFD. I don't know anything about the AFD. I'm assuming that's some kind of like police force or, I don't know, public safety or something like that. Really nice photo, though. This World by Ledbetter. No uterus, no opinions. What does that say? Words of protest down before, they're up again. Good. I like it. I mean, strong believer that men should stay out of women's rights. We don't know what we're talking about. We're not women. So I agree with the message behind here where, you know, kind of shut your mouth and let women care for women's bodies. There's a lot of really interesting stuff on display in this photo alone. A lot of interesting elements, including the shadow mixing with the signage, the sign being so clear despite the shadow like drifting over it this way. Love that you can see these feet walking and that the shadow of this person walking come through very, very, very well. You can also tell it's a picket sign just being held down. A lot of really interesting stuff on display here. Who did this one again? Ledbetter. Very, very good shot here, Ledbetter. I'm going to pop outside here to the patio. Ooh. Ooh, hold on. There's an arrow. Oh, we have a couple more pieces up here. Oh, look at this. I understand. So they're putting pieces around. This is modeled off of a real building, right? And all of that winds us back around to the beginning. Whoa, hold on. I see a little sign there. What does that say? Three of three. Something, 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 something. Is this a switch? This looks like a switch. I love that they snuck some secrets in here. When I have more time, I'll have to explore. I do see a sign over there, though. What do we have? Oh, the streets around the building? Very cool. And then a door that leads nowhere. Maybe do a gift shop. Everybody spent the time to put this much work into the building. We're going to walk all the way around it. We're going to look at the outside as well as the inside. Very cool. Now, is this where the map ends, though? No. Oh, there's some more stuff down there. Hold on a second. Oh, I can't walk down the stairs? Too bad. We'll head back up to the front here, and then we will slowly start winding down this stream. How long have we been going for? Almost 4 hours. Now that was an afternoon at the museum. Certainly was an afternoon at the museum. What a good time. Everybody who put on the 2-Bit Contemporary Museum, like, thank you. Thank you so much for doing all of this. This is just, like, so stupendous, and, I don't know, it's staggering. I use that word a lot, too. What were my top words tonight? Cool, stark, and staggering, I think were the ones I used the most. But this really is, like, what a work this is, and, like, to put these little custom Game Boy cameras in here, to give everybody a space to showcase their artwork. The fact that they simply accepted everybody who submitted. Here's some more information as well. We went over this at the beginning of the stream. Wow, my voice is totally leaving me. 2-Bit Contemporary is a showcase of the entire Game Boy camera community. The aim is to find and include everyone. We're exhibiting everyone who submitted. This was brought to you by Jake Pink at Hot Pink Pixels, Ruben at rubs.pix, Andreas Gack, air underscore Gack, and Alex Hatch at hatch_GB. You can also find some more information here at the GameBoyCameraClub.com, which you should join their Discord if you like the Game Boy camera, want to learn more, want to have a bunch of friendly photographers help get you started. It's a good community for that. Used to be more active on that. Haven't posted there in a while. Chris, of course, of GameBoyCamera.com, who is, I think, one of the main people behind the Camera Club as well. 2-Bit Boy, a buddy of mine who made the 2-Bit Toy 3D print mod. Natalie the Nerd, who's doing the Lord's work when it comes to modifications and making them readily available and easily accessible. Who also does the modded Game Boy Club, I believe. What is Hair Zach saying here? Thank you so much for showing everyone around. I enjoyed so much seeing the museum for your point of view. Yes, thank you. Thank you for all of your help with the museum as well. Anybody who helped contribute to this, thank you all so, so much. And thank you again for the opportunity to showcase my work. I had 2 pieces in here. Somewhere around here. Was it in Gallery 1? Was I so fortunate? I was. Whoops. Gallery 1, and then wherever my other gallery was, but there are our pieces. So what can we talk about? We've got lots to be thankful for because of the Game Boy camera community. Hope everybody enjoyed the tour. I didn't expect it to take this long, but this was good, and we had a really good turnout. So thank you, everybody who showed up to watch the stream. Anybody watching on the VOD, again, you won't be able to hear the music, so Bus Driver, you won't be able to hear Bus Driver. Rentals, you won't be able to hear the rentals because you didn't watch it live. I don't want to get in trouble with the DMCA, so the music here is not recorded in the VOD or the YouTube that I will be posting. This will be on Twitch for up to a week, and then will be on YouTube indefinitely once I get it all edited down and everything. But yeah, I've got some games coming up. We played Minecraft tonight. We explored the 2-Bit Contemporary Museum. Tomorrow night, join me for more Genesis January. I'll be playing Jewel Master for the Sega Genesis, which is going to kick my butt. Wednesday, we're going to dip into Disney Dreamlight Valley. It'll be very similar to this, where I'm playing it and listening to music. And then on Friday, we are continuing our playthrough of Shenmue, my first proper playthrough of Shenmue, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm fully in. I've drank the Shenmue Kool-Aid. It's so good. It is so good, and it's so weird. And every time I think about it, I just think, like, I wish I was playing Shenmue right now. So please join me every Friday in January as we celebrate Shenmue-ary. Every Monday is Genesis January, and then every Wednesday is just something fun in between. You can find me at my usual spots, my Linktree, linktr.ee/hellodanlane has all my links. You can find me on Instagram and YouTube at hellodanlane, like it is above. If you like all this Game Boy camera photography, I have years of it on my profile. And then if you go to my follows, a good number of these artists should be there. If they're not there, I will find you. And I will add you to my follows because everyone here did such a good job. Going to give everybody a big round of applause. Thank you all so much for exhibiting. And again, thank you for having me. That'll be it. That'll conclude the Midwest goodbye section of my stream. Join me tomorrow for Jewel Master. It is a really difficult game, and depending on how far I get in it, I might play a second game. But again, thank you all so much. Have a good one. Take care. Play games. Take photos with your Game Boy cameras, or go find one to take photos. And remember that games will never die. Peace.